BritizenCon 2017 was incredible. Twice as many people attended than 2016. We had twice as many dev panels as 2016, one on design and one on technology, including the legendary Brian Chambers, fantastic prizes in our Arena Commander competition, and much more. But BritizenCon 2018 is going to be even bigger. With more competitions, more competitors, and more prizes. More exhibitors showing off everything from fan-made costumes to the latest peripherals and hardware. A better livestream and a bigger Bar Citizen. With dev panels galore and arcade machines to play. Immerse yourself in Star Citizen for a day. Come to BritizenCon 2018 on Saturday the 21st of April 2018 at the Radisson Blu, Manchester Airport. Follow the links to the BritizenCon website below and reserve your place with tiered and standard tickets available now. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to meet your fellow citizens and the devs making our dreams come true. BritizenCon 2018.
Why is that not working?
Oh, hello.
No.
Hello.
Wow.
They can hear you guys. Welcome everyone
Everybody
to
is
episode
welcome.
6 of the Asylum.
Oh, man.
Welcome. It's almost perfect every time. And I go, fuck it up.
We do it on purpose. It wouldn't be our show if it wasn't almost perfect.
Can everyone just do kind of a very basic sound check and just make sure I did do a sound check beforehand, but I just want to make sure, is everyone levels okay? Is someone too quiet,
Hello.
too loud? Is anyone
Am I loud? Hello,
Real
Mum.
quick. Just check. Anyone say something in chat? We'll be good.
Hello, chat.
So, how is everybody
Today's podcast is
doing?
brought to you by PG Tips.
Oh, and today's broadcast is brought to you by the Crown, the Royal Crown at that. I must say golden. This is my golden, my golden. It's got to be done properly. If you're going to stir some tea, you've got to do it properly.
Bunsen says good levels.
I also call sabotage because I had the little monkey sitting on my microphone and Madness tried to crop him off. So I've had to drag him in a bit further.
Oh, did I?
Aw.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
rude.
You've got to have the PG Tips monkey there. So
Let's
they'll sponsor me one day.
We can fix that. Hang on a second. Let me fix that for you, Miz. It's so going.
Vanity message deleted due to Twitch admins. I don't know how you
There we
look at
go.
that.
PG Tips. There we go.
Oh, well done, Vixen. Very good.
We don't need any.
Oh, the monkey's
There's the
monkey's
finger.
gone.
There's the head. Oh, we got that.
Did you just crop him right off, you bastard? You absolute bastard.
I do apologise if you get the silly thing. Just please, I do apologise again. I still haven't got the new monitor yet, so you might still get the stupid mouse over anyone's face. I'm trying to make a note. I need to make a note of it just to say nobody's face. Everyone's face is on this part of the map or part of my screen, so I'll make sure I don't put my mouse over there. But it does happen.
It's like going across boundaries, isn't it? It's just make sure I don't put my mouse on that side of the screen.
I know, it's just no one understands it. When you do a podcast, eventually one of you guys will understand it.
It's a lot of effort. Too much effort.
Crazy. It's crazy. Sometimes I do question why am I doing it, but because I love you guys. Right.
It is a
Turn up me. Have I got to turn up my volume?
You have gone a bit quiet. I don't know why. What did you do? You actually went quieter when you started streaming.
Did I? I did nothing.
I did nothing.
I did nothing other than go into Discord. La 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 la.
You need tech support.
There we go. So how is everybody this evening? Thank you. So yeah, as we haven't actually announced, but this is episode 6. Obviously, you got the usual madness and myself, and once again the wonderful guest, Mr. Moist Noodle.
Hello, it's me, Moist Noodle.
Welcome once again. It's nice to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. What?
I actually cannot get my I can't select my speakers for some reason. On my desktop, it won't allow me to select my speakers. What is going on? Don't worry, we'll turn it up. Hello. Hello, hello. There we go. We'll crank it up a bit. Okay. I'm not going to turn
the volume was good a minute ago. Yeah, I think he pressed something and it's fixed it up.
There we go.
So, what have you been up to recently? I think it's going to be very similar to the last time you was on, isn't it? Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter actually because
Right.
I haven't streamed an awful lot lately because I've been extremely busy with work and I'm very tired. And I'm finding 3.0.1 to be really frustrating. I haven't managed to complete a single mission in this patch. Something goes wrong every time. Like boxes either fall through the floor, which was a problem I had in the PTU for 3.0, or it just gets stuck to my hand, or even when I put it down, it thinks that when I put the box down, it thinks that it's still attached to me. I've just kind of given up for now. So I've been playing Monster Hunter a lot.
Wow. So you've given up a game where it's broken, nothing works, everything's busted, pretty much, but it looks good, and you've swapped for a game that got 9 point something out of 10, and it's considered one of the best Monty Hunters games of all time, I think, in terms of game and playability.
Really?
Well, I've never played a Monster Hunter game before, so...
It got like 9.5, I think it was 9.8, something ridiculous at IGN or something gave it for...
really?
And,
well, it's
still
IGN,
got its,
so let's
still
not
got
trust what they say.
It's still got its flaws. Okay, well, I mean, them and many other people have given it, it's been 9 out of 10 for pretty much across the board as far as I've been reading about it in terms of as a game. So you've swapped a broken project with no end in sight if ever being finished for a game that is, finished and is considered one of the best. So I don't see the problem there, Moist.
It's I have not got a problem with testing games. However, Star Citizen, I think the thing I'm frustrated with is that we do have the PTU server and it doesn't seem to be being used for what it really should be. This patch just seems way too buggy. It feels like it should be on the PTU right now, not the live servers.
I don't know what. See, I don't understand why they push to live when they could just give everybody access to PTU. And then you've got the option of playing a 2.6, which at the end of the day we've been playing for a hell of a long time, and it's stable. So if people want to go and do combat, they can go on there.
Yeah.
And then those that want to play on the live on the 3.0 or whatever one they want to push out could be on the PTU. Unless it's because they just don't want to run 2 servers at the same time, I suppose.
Well, it's not necessarily that. It's they mentioned in an ATV a while ago that they don't want to have several versions running at the same time, or at least it makes it incredibly complicated. Because I think this was brought up before, but I can't necessarily see why we can't have like 2.6 servers and then 3.0 servers, because the servers just spool up. They're part of AWS. They're virtual servers that spool up as and when they're needed. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, though, like I said, like Monster Hunter, I mean, would you recommend anyone to get Monster Hunter? Do you think that's a good game?
Yes, in fact, I've bought 5 copies of Monster Hunter. Don't judge me, Dad.
What did you buy it on?
One for each
PS4.
console.
So I've bought myself a copy. I've bought Cecil a copy.
I'll send you.
And I've given away several copies as well.
I'll send you my address. No, I'm gonna get it myself. I think it looks amazing. I've just got the only problem I have is the really big task of like getting the PlayStation from that side of the room moved over to this side of the room. Now that's
Let's wait for it on PC. It's a lot easier.
I gotta wait till Christmas. That's a
It's
long
not
time.
No, it's in August, I think, isn't it? It's coming out on PC.
August, is it? August?
I think so.
That's as close to Christmas as almost as Christmas.
Do you know how many
really.
games we've got to play in that time? It's fine.
To be fair, quite a few.
Yeah, to be like Sea of Thieves is coming out, I think, next month, and that's going to keep us busy for a whole week. You know?
Yeah, at least a week.
I'm done with Sea of Thieves. I've played it. I've seen it. I've got the boat. There's nothing more. There's nothing more that I really feel like I really desperately need to. Oh, by the way, guys, just do me a favor. If you're finding this background annoying, if it becomes annoying, let me know. If you find like as you're watching it, because it's a new background, but I'm noticing that I have a star that keeps passing every 30 seconds, and it could become a blinding problem for everyone. I might pause it. I might pause the video just because I think it's going to be like I'm already noticing it going. That's a little bit too quick. I thought it was a longer time lapse, but it's pretty damn quick. So we could be like...
fair, when I tried one of the slower time lapse, it just left me in pitch black most of the time, and it was like I was just, especially when I keep wearing these black t-shirts, I just disappear into the background.
Miss Nasty B says don't buy it on the PS4 because he's the PC elitist. Clearly, no, because the PC version comes out and the PS4 version will get abandoned.
Yes, I will drop the PS4 version the moment that the PC version comes out.
Well, the thing is I'll get it on the I'll get it on the PC, right? Let's just say I get it on the PC. I will just play it with a controller. I won't play it with the keyboard and mouse.
That's all right. No one's judging.
I probably
saying I will
as well, to be fair, because normally when you have console ports, because they're designed for controllers, they tend to handle better with controllers, I find.
Okay. So here's my question to you: if Monster Hunter is a finished game, you're enjoying it so far. What could you take if you could take? I mean, I'm asking you a question already. Maybe I should put it in the question form. But anyway, if you could take exclamation question. By the way, if anyone's got any questions for later, if you could take anything from that game and add it to Star Citizen, what would you do?
FPS.
Frames. Okay, fair enough.
And I was about to say a good party system, but the party system in that game is fucking awful. Really bad. It's my major criticism of that game. It's really confusing.
Is it as bad as Sea of Thieves party system?
I didn't really have to mess around with that too much because I only played with my life partner.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I just hated the fact that you had like 3 different Microsoft apps just to get in the game.
Oh, I just generally hate the fucking Xbox store. It's just a pile of crap, isn't it? Why can't we just have it on Steam, please?
Steam, please.
So, anything else notable, Moist, that you've been up to this week?
Just lots and lots of work. I'm kind of still enjoying my job, my new job.
Kind of.
It's really, really stressful at the moment, though, because I'm still, I'm trying to build computers while trying to sell computers, and the girl who runs our store left, so, I've been having to try and run the store several days as well, and it's just crazy. Wow, what a raid.
We're getting raided by Mitachi. Quick,
Mate.
Space Bros everywhere. Space Bros. Hit the defend, boys. Get Madness in this tank. There you go. Woo. Let's do it.
That grin tank.
How about you, Madness? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I've bought a couple of games when the Steam sale was on, which was quite nice. And my wife's looking at me now as if to kill me. She's like, "You didn't tell me about this."
You did what? You have to forget she's in the room. That green screen doesn't hide sound as well.
And a knife goes across the screen. God, Madness is murdered live on air. Literally getting strangled right now. No, I had a look, and there was a few things on sale, so I had a little cheeky look. So that, and then Subnautica, just still trying to finish up my base. I had my family over this weekend, so it was being really busy for me and head crazy. So I let my dad play Subnautica for the first time, and I let him play Star Citizen for the first time, which was fun. And let him try and navigate the webpage as well. I should have recorded him. I think.
Because I've been trying to watch you play Subnautica at work, trying. I ended up buying Subnautica, but I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet. But it does look a lot of fun.
a lot of fun. It is a lot. Once you get past,
You
like,
are a
say,
bit of a wimp, though, aren't you?
I'm a total. I'm
very much a wimp.
It's true. I am genuine. Well, you wait. You look, hang on. You live stream it when you've never played it. Put your headphones on. No one around, and I'm going to watch you live stream it. And I'm going to come on Discord.
I don't think Subnautica is up there on the top tier of like fearful games like Resident Evil and any of them sort of games, is it?
Have you played it, Miz?
No.
Then
until
you've played it, until you've actually had the headphones on and you've listened to the eerie sounds.
I know that in real life is scary.
It is terrifying. Anyway, so I played my old man. I watched my old man. Now, I realised that me and my dad. My old man. When he lived in Africa. Okay, so he tells me stories. My dad is not really afraid of very much. Like, he killed a scorpion. He's not got an issue with spiders. He's basically the opposite of me. Pretty much hardcore. He's pretty much hardcore. But like my dad killed a mouse barefoot. Stood on it and he stood on it.
What the fuck's wrong with your dad?
When he's like,
God,
he's like proper hardcore. Doesn't really, it's proper Scotsman. Like,
is your dad Vinnie Jones by any chance?
He's pretty much Vinnie Jones. Yeah.
Is he Ozzy Osbourne? Did he bite a bat's head off live as well?
Oh, God.
So he's not afraid of much. So he was playing Subnautica. And he put the headphones on and stuff, and like he got like spooked out initially with like some of the noises and stuff. But then when we kind of got to like the Ghost Leviathan, which terrified me, he was like kind of just casually like, "Oh yeah, that's quite, that's pretty big, isn't it?" And kind of like just sauntered on a little bit and just carried on. I was like, "Damn it!" But he did jump initially at the first kind of like, "Whoa, that's big," and like he got a bit kind of freaked out. But yeah, he eventually
that game's VR ready as well, isn't it?
Yes, I would love to see Madness playing it in VR. When you eventually get VR, you've got to play it in VR. And actually, what the funny thing is, Nasty and I, both of us actually have been noticing some other deep diving games. And every time we see it, it's like, we've got to get Madness to play this one. There was one called Debris or something, and it's like a co-op survival.
I'm genuinely
escape
fearful
from the deep
of that
type of game.
Yeah.
So
oh no, like seriously, just no. It's because I watched Jaws. I don't know how many other people are about my age. I'm 36 this year, and so I don't know. I watched Jaws at a young age when I shouldn't have watched Jaws, and I basically scared. When you're a little kid and you see a woman getting munched in half, pretty much. Sorry for anyone that's never seen Jaws, by the way, just spoiled at the beginning. But that's pretty much what happens at the beginning. In the dark, and the music comes on, and then you watch more. I terrified the crap out of me as a kid.
I think I was about 8 the first time I saw it, and it was terrifying all the way through. But the bit with the boat where he's eating, the end of the boat towards the end, that was it. I couldn't watch it.
Have you seen it like recently? Have you gone back and seen it?
Yeah, it looks awful.
It's dreadful. You look at it and think, how the fuck did we ever believe in anything like that? It's funny. It's really funny.
Signor, like, I'm not joking. Anyone here that's never got Subnautica, I thoroughly, for £20, I think it's £20, it could be $20 or whatever you are. It is so worth it. If you like kind of like any sort of crafting and building, and you like a game that has continual development more than you realize, and you like there's a good story in there as well, and it's just a very relaxing, cool, and intense, and the music, the audio is great. It's very simple to get into. The only thing you have to get past if you play survival mode is the food and the water situation. But once you get to a certain stage, that's not a problem. It's very easy.
Sorry to interrupt, but Merrick says he was an extra in Jaws 3, and the fear on his face was real. I can imagine.
So yes, I've been doing that, and then I've got I'm going back to Witcher 3. I've got the expansion packs and DLCs because it's a lot cheaper on PC than it is on PlayStation. So that's the one good thing about PC. So there's a big sale on Steam, so I'm going to go back to play that because I love that. It's my favorite game. I want to go back to it because I want to take some key notes from it and then like try and put something together for Star Citizen again. It's like looking at that. I mean, for me, Subnautica, if Star Citizen want to make anything to do with underwater, which we heard a little bit about, I'm literally like, look at that mini game that they've done, because it's a small game, but it's massive at the same time. Look at that and kind of take a lot of that and stick that into your underwater feature. And I think you've got a really good, I mean, even that in space would probably be fine, but there's some really cool stuff with the radar, the way it pings the radar, and you can kind of see what's in front of you in the dark. oh my god, miracle cure for Star Citizen problems for mining, or for like kind of like maneuvering and seeing in the dark, because it gives you a few seconds of being able to see what's in front of you, then it takes it away, so you still get the intensity of the darkness, but then you can still see where you're going, which is really cool. So yeah, sorry, anyway, I will be doing something on that at some point, which is awesome. And then what else have I been up to? Oh yeah, I went to a really old school place where I got this, and I got an amazing, I don't know where it is, but I got an amazing pencil sharpener, which is a catapult.
Oh wow.
And they had like a proper like knights helmets and all sorts of stuff. It was a Hampton Court Palace, I think it was, where Henry VIII, and they had the most incredible shit there. It was just like I was like a kid in a candy shop with my headphones on. I had my headphones on. I did the full audio tour. I realized that's when you realize you're getting old, is when you got the full audio tour and you're sat there going, I'm really interested in every room. You're slowly going through every room, and it's like my kids there, and I've
always been old.
I realized I was really old the other day when I was stood in my kitchen and I was staring at my pantry and I was going, wow, this is really well stocked, and I was listening to Radio 4 and I was really proud of myself. And then it clicked. I'm old.
Oh shit! What am I doing with my life as you itinerize everything that's in the store?
Yep.
Oh, I have 2 packets of spaghetti. I can take that off next week's shopping list. Oh god.
So yeah, so that was it. And then I've been doing the podcast, and then just work's been crazy. Just crazy work, as all work. We all have our work issues. So work was crazy, and then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I'm playing Star Citizen, which I'll talk about as we go through. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I played Star Citizen last week, and I'm no word of a lie. People will come on my stream and watch it and can verify. I think I got interdicted about 50 times.
Oh, don't get me going.
And literally, I would go from one location to another location just to go to Selin or to Yella, and I was like, interdicted. And I was just waiting for the cooldown period, and then I'd get done again, and then done again, and then done again. And I was like, but it got me thinking, which I haven't tested yet, and if anyone in chat has tested this, please confirm this. But we have a ship called the Sabre, which is meant to be a stealth ship. You're supposed to be able to put yourself into stealth mode. Has anyone tried to see if you can jump in stealth mode in a Sabre and avoid being interdicted?
Probably not, because once you go into quantum jump, you're using a hell of a lot of energy to quantum jump. Therefore, your signature goes through the roof.
Are we talking about this topic now, or are we going to save it for later?
So that was we can talk about that later, but that was my experience of Star Citizen this week, was interdiction.
Yeah.
And
there was a little bit in RTV about interdiction, which was quite funny.
Yeah, I noticed that, and that's why I was asking. But I didn't want to start ranting now.
We'll save it.
So we'll save it, because we're going to do something we haven't done before ever on the show. We're going to do a live viewing, but before we get to that, we'll go to Miz first to see what Miz has been up to.
What have I been up to? I don't know. I've been playing some Tarkov. It's been good fun, getting a little bit better at it and managing to actually escape a few times now, which helps.
I need people to play with, so yeah, I need your deets, my friend.
Yep, add me on to your contacts. It's all good. We're doing quite well now, actually. Mauritius and I have been doing a lot of duos with it, and we get out most of the time, so it's pretty good.
So boring.
Oh, fuck off! You played it once, and you ran around with the group, and we didn't get attacked.
So you went in with a hatchet, so there was no worry about losing anything.
And he's with the pro team, so we just walked him through it all, got some loot, and got out. And he's like, "Oh, this is boring. Like, play the game fucking properly." Jesus,
there was nothing. Literally,
how can you say that? It's like.
I had to shoot the bodies to keep myself entertained. I was just like the dead bodies on the floor. I was like, I have to shoot these because there's nothing going on.
Send you in on your own and let's see how well you do. Yeah, so I was doing that. I missed D&D this week. I was more of a listener because I had... Wow, this crotch cam is scary. That's dangerously close to biting.
Wow. You didn't notice that going channel.
So it was a missus' birthday and relatives around, so that took up a lot of time celebrating the news as always. And we had Friday D&D was on, but I was more of a spectator. But it went quite well. So next week we're going to carry on with that adventure. I also got access to a game called War Tile, which I'm going to have to do a little playthrough. I might stream it and do a little playthrough and first look at it, and then stick that up on YouTube as well. And then I've got Hunt Showdown, which I've got and still haven't had chance to actually go around and play. So we're gonna try and have a little game of that because it looks really good fun. But that's pretty much my week, I think.
Sounds like a fab week to me, Ms.
Wow, gee, I wish we could all have such a fab week. We're just
The
waiting while
exciting
I
lives
find-
we all live.
Woo! We are just, cutting edge people. Really, look at the pies. How day and night cocaine parties going crazy every
How
Friday.
long is it? And speaking of cocaine parties, how long is it until BritainCon?
Not the drugs are good, by the way. Drugs are bad.
We're getting close to it now, isn't it? So it's April, yeah? So it's got a month or so away.
It is
I
very
need to book
close,
my
obviously.
tickets. Because the closing ticket bookings next week.
So yeah,
is it?
anyone that wants to go to BritainCon, the ticket sales are still going to be continuing. However, the top tiers with the t-shirts and the room and everything else are actually ending on the 19th of February. So you've only got a few more days to get those. Otherwise, it's standard tickets, which is fine. Standard tickets get you through the door, which is all you need. So.
Suddenly, I had Phantom's attention. What on the drugs? Drugs! What's going on? Suddenly start talking really fast. Actually, that was one thing I was going to say. I tried my first ever. I had mead for the first time. Now I know I've been not drinking alcohol, but I was like, I've never tried mead in my life. I have to try mead. So I tried this mead with ginger. Unfortunately, it's the only one that they had. So I tried this tournament edition mead with ginger, and it was really sweet, and I actually really enjoyed it. So
mead sounds.
I bought
I've
some.
never tried mead. Oh God, I just heard a crash downstairs. Be right back.
Okay, it was
That's
very
the puppy.
good. It was very good. Oh bless. Bye bye goes the 42-inch TV off the wall. Tears. So yeah, have you had mead, Miz?
I've never, it's something I actually want, but I've never actually had it. I have a lot of real ale and cider and stuff like that, but I haven't actually tried a proper mead. So it's definitely something I need.
I had a
The
little
things
bit.
I like
this.
Yeah, I got a sweet tooth, so I think I would probably like it a lot. That's probably the problem. That's probably the problem.
Get fucked up on that stuff. I'll tell you, I was like drinking it. Oh, granted, like I said, I haven't had booze for a while, so anyone knows anything about people that don't, it goes to your head a bit quicker. But I was like, whoa,
where'd you get it?
Good.
Like I'm not going to Hampshire court just to go get some mead. It's got. I don't think I've seen it in like the supermarket. Like you get the other owls and things. So I don't really know where you go to get something like that.
I think maybe you might have to go to like a specialist type of store, or like I said, Google or order it online. I'd imagine from like someplace. Yeah. But it's I have to say, I was impressed. Anyway, so what we're going to do, guys, tonight we're going to watch Calling All Devs, which has just come out. We've not seen this, so some of the things in the podcast document will probably be relevant to what we're about to see. So rather than us wasting time, then you all saying to us, "Oh, have you not watched Call All the Devs? The answer's in there." We're going to watch it live right now with you guys. We can all talk about it. It's going to just come up, I think, like 20 minutes ago or something like that. So it's only a 20-minute show. We'll probably make it last about an hour because we haven't really done much for the podcast. So it'll fill in the gaps.
Which of our viewers were you impersonating then, out of interest?
Which one? When?
Were you impersonating any particular viewer?
That one.
No idea. Maybe. Let's go. Let's. I'm gonna go. Right. So we have to do in this. We're going to be doing a countdown of 3, 2, 1.
The difficulty is if you pause it, so we can discuss an element of it. You've got to make it known that you're pausing it.
I will have to make sure I'll have to tell you in advance that I'm pausing it, won't I? Shit. Okay, we'll make this work, guys. Okay, here we go.
Bear with us. New idea.
Bear with us.
It'll probably never happen again.
This wasn't planned, which is why it's so janky.
Yes. No way. This is going to be smooth. Right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow,
Get ready on those pause buttons. Get ready on those pause buttons.
It's amazing.
Wow, it's actually in sync.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Calling All Devs, our new weekly Q&A series.
I like
where
his
I take
beard.
questions from you,
like
voted on by the Star System,
and
pose them directly to our developers.
It's neat.
I'm your host, content manager
enough.
Jared Huckabee, and
That's still banging,
I'm
though,
very
so.
sick, and we've got like maybe 15 minutes left on this lozenge, so let's just get right to it before I lose my voice. All right. So for our first,
Sounds like you
call
might have
of
already
the day,
have.
we are going back, as Benoit would
Who
say,
knows?
north of the wall, and giving
I
a
wouldn't
call to our
remember.
friends at
Gerard
Turbulence.
is still sick
Let's see who
and
picks
still
up.
letting us know.
Caitlin,
Do you know what?
how you doing?
Yeah.
Every time I hear the Skype
Jared,
sound,
how's
it
it
makes
going?
me freak out like
Good.
someone's calling me.
Welcome to Calling All Devs. This is that thing that
People
that
still
I
use
told you
Skype.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Apparently.
about. I understand Benoit is on vacation. Is that what's happening?
He is. He's on vacation, some well-deserved
Yes.
time off.
She's quite
Yeah.
She's quite cute.
Well,
She's quite cute.
Glad you can be here for the
I don't
show.
think
Thank
so.
you so much.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so the question that we have here for you today, now these, of course, are submitted by backers. They are voted on by backers each and every week. Their question for you guys this week is, when are we getting an update to org tools on our website?
Right. Well, when is a little bit of a loaded question.
I know.
As
Well,
I'm sure you guys hear. But what I
I thought
can
you said
talk
never a
about
when
is
question.
what kind of we've been working over in the last couple of weeks,
That's
Mhm.
freaky.
and some details about our plans to bring it into Spectrum a little bit more.
Okay, let's go with that.
All right. So one of the biggest things, obviously, we want to bring in the orgs into Spectrum right now. So our UX department has been working closely with the design team and with the devs to try and figure out a way to make this a little bit more seamless. Right now, obviously, with the orgs in Spectrum, the orgs forum and chat system, you guys can already, all the communication is already happening there. So when we revisit orgs, it kind of only naturally makes sense to bring it into Spectrum. So we started with the first question our UX designer asked, which is what does it mean to discover a new org in Spectrum? And of course, that brings up like multiple different ideas of interfaces that we have to introduce into Spectrum. So the first thing, obviously, if we're allowing users to discover a new org in Spectrum, obviously we have to create the possibility for an org public page, so that you can actually search and see this information about the orgs. And then we're also playing with the idea of a org public forum, which we think would be a really cool opportunity for potential recruits to interact with the org members and admins. So that's one part, is introducing like a new public page, public forum. And then along comes with this, of course, is how do you search for a new org? How do you search the org database? So right now, all of that is happening in the org section on the RSI site,
Mm-hmm.
but we would want to bring that into Spectrum. So what filters, functions do users currently use? So actually, to explore that a little bit more, we're looking back in terms of what worked for people before in the past. How are our filters functioning currently today? Do we need to be adding new filters? Are some of the filters totally useless? Do we need to introduce, is the search function the most important feature? How do people search and find new orgs that they want to join? So that's something that we're looking into, and then of course bringing that functionality into
That'd be
Spectrum.
good.
Okay.
Was it a minute?
And then the other part that
Ask
comes
people.
with this whole discovering
Did
a
you
new
pause
org
it?
through Spectrum is, of
Yep.
course, we have to
1, 2,
create
3.
the
I was
ability.
just going to say.
Yep.
Oh. So that the org. Has anyone actually tried looking for an org on Spectrum or on the website?
No.
it's,
No.
it's like, I don't know, like it's terrible. It's just
yeah,
like lists
I
of
have,
things.
I
And it's
have. Yeah, it's not. It's
not- I
always
don't know
like
how they make it better, but it's
it's just the biggest
awful
ones
at the
as far
moment.
as I can. It's like it gives you the biggest orgs and it gives you the newest orgs. That always seems to be all that I ever seem to be able to find. It's like, oh look, there's test and there's the next biggest game and the next one and the next one, and then it's like, oh, and this is a brand new org started by one person. This is a brand new org started by another one person. This is another org, and that's about as far as I've managed to. I get asked. I mean, I get invited into a few orgs now and again, but
yeah.
it's not. It's I don't know. It's important.
No,
I guess.
I'm just wondering because I did try and look a while back, but I found it was like extremely difficult, and it's like there are a shit ton of them as well. I don't know if they should regulate it and maybe like have a certain amount of people signed up before it becomes a listed org or something, rather than having, because like I don't know if people are making like placeholders or trying to reserve names or things like that, but it just seems to be loads and loads of one person orgs and things with no one's posted on it or anything else. It's just like a placeholder. But they've also got a weird thing where I think they can have the same name, but it's the shorthand tag that's not allowed the same or something. So you can search them, and there's actually quite a few that look identical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need more filter tools, I think. So, like, for example, I'm not interested in combat, so I don't really need to see combat-orientated orgs. So it would be nice to be able to select my preferences and then only see orgs that sort of do those tasks.
It's got a simple filter, so there's a few things that you can put on there like that, trade orientated or something like that. But
is there an active org button which tells you based on the number of people on?
I think there was something like
tells
that.
you how many.
But I don't
that
know if
would
it's by
be
numbers.
important.
It's more by
That would be quite
the
nice,
person
actually.
that last posted or something.
That would be interesting to see, if you were to say, right, okay, which is the most active org in terms of like, it might not necessarily be the one with the biggest number of people. You might be surprised. It might actually be some of there'll be a degree of obviously big orgs with active people, but I'd be curious to see if there was a way to find out.
Like to see later on when the game is slightly better developed, or further developed rather, is something like Indeed.com. I don't know if that's just a British thing or European thing, but I would like to be able to apply for roles in orgs. So, for example,
cool.
If they just need a medic, then they can
advertise.
Put out applications for
that would
just
be cool.
a medic.
That would be nice.
Really cool.
I had something very similar on when I did our last guild, mainly Elder Scrolls, but you could put on the engine website, so you'd have what you're recruiting, and you can also then put how much you need it. So like different, like the traffic light system of, how much you want more of a certain type. So that would be quite a good way of being able to advertise probably what an org is looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't know I think at the moment it's just I can't remember. It's been a while, but I thought it was just more of a forum post for all the orgs. There'd be a nicer way if they had a better way of displaying it, so that you could kind of get a quick reference to, I don't know, maybe like a short paragraph of what the org is about, and then I have a list of those. So you can when you're flicking through them, you've got at least a little bit more information.
Yeah, I really, I think that's something they should definitely implement. Though, Moist is definitely the job thing. I really like that idea. Really like that idea. That would be wicked to have live job boards and stuff, which people can then apply to say, hey, and then it helps with the reputation stuff. You know what I mean? Like they've got that reputation thing, so you could if you were like the best medic in the game, you could probably, or a really good medic in the game with a huge reputation, people would be desperately wanting to hire you. You could pretty much freelance your services and stuff. It's be awesome. Very, very cool. Right, I'm going to press play again. I'm going to press play
wait
again.
A minute.
Okay.
I'm checking DM in.
Oh
yeah. Bunsen, thank you for that. That will make our lives a lot easier.
That would be a lot easier.
He's got let's watch together.
Link. Yeah.
Yeah, click that. It's already on the right thing. We can watch it together. Oh, it's beautiful.
All right. Do I just click the
It
fast
was
forward?
at the right time.
Applications.
But what time you put it into now?
It's going straight through.
Admin.
There you go.
Receiving those applications and managing
make
them,
it bigger.
and of course being able to manage blocked
I can help you with that.
blocked users.
I just want to make it full screen. Where's the full screen button?
Make it bigger.
I want to make it bigger. It's not happening.
Click on the cog.
Settings.
Yeah, on the cog. Oh shit, that's made it full screen now.
That one.
There's
There
a
we
little
go.
cog at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
And all of that functionality.
See, we're
Of course,
professionals at
that
this.
is,
We've
like,
done this before.
Notifications. How do those notifications happen? How do they look?
Is that actually
different?
working for you? Because it's not
So
playing
all
for
of
me.
this kind of functionality. All
Now just
What?
press play yet.
I've pressed
Damn
play.
it.
You're not seeing?
No.
No, it's not working for me.
is
it was
encompassing
a
There
nice
you go.
by
Now
idea.
it's working. No, it's not.
Oh, hang on. Oh, so we have to. Right. We
got to
we
join
all
me.
have to set it. We all have to set it to the specific time, and it just plays and pauses. It doesn't select the time for you.
So you need to
So
know
what-
what time it is.
Yeah. So what time are we watching from?
4:26.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Okay. Okay, I'm good.
All right. You ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
I think so.
Ready to go full screen and just hit play. Ready? We're doing this live, guys. This is live.
Sorry.
Podcasting. So do apologize. Right. Many have that problem.
Receiving those
You're not alone.
applications and
Thanks, Des.
managing them. And of course, being able to manage blocked
and it's still not
users
playing
and
for me,
all of that
for God's sake.
functionality. Of course, comes with that is like
What if one of us-
notifications.
now
How
it's
do those
working.
notifications happen? How do they look different? So all of this kind of functionality all is encompassing by how do I discover a new org through Spectrum? That was kind of our main question that we asked. And it's
How
kind
do
of
I
channeled
discover a
out
new
into
org
these
through
new,
Spectrum? That's a good
features
one.
that we
That's a good.
would like to add. So the design work for that is already
You're a
done
little
in
bit
terms
ahead of us, but
asking
fine.
the questions.
Yeah, I
we
think
need to-
I'm
we wanna
controlling it,
reach
and I
out
don't
to
think
communities
Madness is
so you guys
synced.
might see us starting
Yeah.
to engage with you in terms of questions on specifically around orgs in Spectrum. Kind of asking you guys what information do you think is important? What things,
What's
especially
important?
in terms of searching for the org database and managing, what kind of
Yeah.
things do we need to make sure that we give functionality for? And then
She needs to drink
one
more
thing that I
water
can say
or put some
that's
lip balm on
super
those
exciting
lips.
that you guys are going to see very soon with the next
Looking a
release
bit
of
cracked.
Spectrum is custom
Stop
roles.
judging her.
Rolls.
I'm not judging.
And I
I'm
know
offering
that
doesn't
advice.
need to do
you're
anything,
still gonna
just
have,
listen to the game
your
talk.
org settings are still the full section of org settings is still going to be controlled through
Those lips
the
look a bit
RSI
chapped.
site in your accounts. However,
looking at
the
her
ability to
lips.
add a new custom role and control all of the permissions within the forum is going to be right there in Spectrum. So that's pretty cool.
That'll be a big step to making our
Spectrum.
org forums, fully usable.
Absolutely, it's going to give you so much more functionality to be able
It is probably
to
cold.
section out people, recruits, and the members of your org into the sections that you guys need.
But they still haven't said
Awesome.
when.
Well, that's I think that's more than we asked for. So thank you so much, Caitlin.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Caitlin.
All right,
Thank you,
let's get back
Caitlin.
to work.
Thank you,
Jared. Have a
Caitlin.
good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, so
Bum.
thank you so much to Caitlin out of turbulent Montreal. Caitlin and Benoit are fantastic partners. This is everybody at Turbulent. Let's just be real about it. I love working with these people. All right, so our next question here.
Oh, look, he's ill.
Oh,
Our next question.
I need to go on my boat
I think it's
in the
perfect
next
for
couple
a
of
gentleman
days.
that we
Oh,
haven't
I'm really
had on the
sick.
show for quite some time. Johnny Giusevius out of
Your
Foundry
boss
for
is called him Madness.
See if he, hey,
Yeah. Oh my
Johnny.
God, that's freaking me out, man.
Johnny, how you doing, man?
Oh, hello, Jared. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. You're doing well. Welcome to Calling All Devs.
This is going to
Thank you
eventually
very much.
backfire because
Thanks for
somebody's
having
going to
me.
do something
Oh,
dumb
no,
Somebody's gonna
behind
pick
one
it
of these
out.
guys.
I got a question for you.
Will backfire.
Maybe a follow-up question. We're gonna
Chris
get
Robert
going.
walked past
So,
and slapped somebody really hard.
So right after that, these questions are voted on and submitted by our backers.
You're fired! Get out of my office!
We pull through them every single week. This question comes up a lot. This question, I've seen this question in some variation, one way or another.
Turns to the camera.
Almost
Oh, we're
every other
live.
week for the
Sorry.
last
We need to hear the
year or
question.
two.
Sorry.
The question is mag boots. Mag boots. Are they ever going to be a thing for EVA?
Here we go.
No. So mag boots
All right,
and,
thanks.
yeah.
What?
Thanks, John.
That's the end of that then.
Answer. So
Yeah.
no, but also yes.
Oh, why are we
Mag
watching this
boots
again?
as they were not really versatile enough for what we wanted to do. So obviously mag boots require a surface that you could magnetize yourself to.
But I love
and you'd
mag
expect
boots.
you would get
I know,
near
so
enough
do
to
I.
that surface, you would connect
mag
and you
boots.
would plod
Be
along
awesome.
very, very, very slowly.
Upside down on spaceships. How cool would that
Whereas
be?
this new system we've got is called Align to Surface, and this
Oh,
will
Align to
allow you
I like
to
it.
align yourself
I'll align to
any
your
solid
surface.
and as you lower yourself, your EVA thruster pack would know that you want
Moist.
to lower yourself to the surface and attach to it. It would then keep you pushed down on that surface, and you would get your standard FPS, within reason.
Yeah.
You'd get your standard FPS behaviors of running around, being able to mantle and all sorts of things like that. So it's a lot more versatile.
So is that kind of like Helium where you grab hold of something?
in all sorts of places
Rather
rather than
than-
being limited to kind
Grab
of
hold of
like
that pole
gantries,
and
walkways,
keeps you still.
sides of spaceships and stuff like that.
Okay, so we are going to get the type of gameplay that's associated with mag boots.
Yeah, I'm just pausing it right there. Pausing it. I'm pausing it. Okay, so I don't know if it works for you guys if I pause it. At the same
Why
time.
not? If some reason Noodles create
Yeah,
using mine, I don't know why.
I seem to have control of it. Hang on. So if I,
Yeah, but it's
You
not
know, sound
working for
effect.
Madness though. I don't know.
it's okay. I can pause and play it though. So you tell me when
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
me to play.
All right,
and I'll
all
do
right,
it.
Moist. You taking control. Moist is taking control. Sounds like
I
a
like
normal.
being in
Sounds my
control.
normal. Sounds like my normal situation in my life. So hang on a minute. So that just sounds like he's like, we're not doing mag boots, but we are doing mag boots. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. But we're not doing technically what you consider mag boots as in magnetic sticking to the surfaces. We're doing something that we're not doing the obvious thing that anyone else has already done. We're making it our own, and we're going to do a whole new program behind it.
I think someone else done it. It's I think it's Hellion. But basically, if you're close to a surface, you can press a button and it kind of like holds on. So what they're saying is it's the mag boot feature, but without it being mag boots, because it won't be your feet that are stuck to it. You will it's as if you stick your arm out and you hold on to the exterior of the ship or something like that. Which is it should be more versatile that way. It should be better. Although the only downside is it sounds like with mag boots you can kind of glue yourself to the ship. You lock yourself on. You're stuck to it. Whereas with this other system that they're talking about, it's kind of like if you get to say the ship spanned too much, it sounds like you would come flying off because you can't hold on.
Okay.
Mandus is looking so confused.
No, it's just like I've always liked mag boots. I mean, every space show I've ever watched, they've got mag boots.
Why can't we have both?
No,
Why can't it be so that if you're floating along, you can hold on to stable? It is Hellion because you can if you go up to like a pod and you're pushing it, if you bounce up to it, you can quickly hold on to it and it'll like grab hold of the pod. But I don't see why you can't have both systems and like lock your feet to it as well if you wanted to be like more permanently stuck to it.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but that just seems.
It's a bit disappointed.
We're not getting mag boots like as in what we think mag boots are with kind of magnetic clip into things, but we're getting something else that will enable us to kind of stay on ships on the outside.
I would say let's not worry about it too much because when they implement it and then it's really shit and people go it's really shit, they'll probably change it.
It'll be full of bugs. It'll be full of bugs. People will be clipping through spaceships left, right, and center, and they'll be like, "Let's just do mag boots because it's easier." You just clipped into one place. Right, let's do it. Play Moist. Take over. Take control.
Take it away, Noodle.
The auto guys could really make that
control.
because it's going to allow us to have this gameplay on all kinds of services, not just magnetic ones.
Yeah, it just makes it essentially makes mag boots far more versatile, and it's going to work for us and for everyone else a lot better, we think.
Gotcha. And what's the system called again?
Align to surface is what we're calling it internally.
Align to surface.
Not really as catchy as it as mag boots.
You kind of
I like it. I like it.
Surface as long as you're within
It's
reason.
Because I reckon because the ships have like multiple skins like hidden underneath them and stuff.
Your thruster pack will know what's
to give you the damage states.
Allow you to land perfectly stably on that surface. And stay
we align to the surface to a rover as it's driving along because I can't even do that. Or dragonfly.
It kind of sounds like an IFC.
It could be like a Jaguar hood ornament.
For FPS.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about
so,
it.
I mean, so it's going to figure out your orientation and do little to keep you.
Yep.
Please, somebody turn that into a GIF.
That's cooler than I thought. I was just expecting
that little.
Mag boots, but we gain everything else.
That's all right. I imagine it's kind of like playing with a lightsaber. I think we're going to make the mag boot sounds ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more question for you. I was gonna call.
Why
Alex,
make sounds yourself when the game could do it for you?
You can help with this. Are there any plans for a single-player AI mode for Star Marine?
So, not that I know of. We're obviously focusing a lot of our resources into the PU at the moment. So that's where our priority lies. But, never say never. It's one of those things that could definitely come in the future, but we've got no plans at the moment.
Yeah. Fair enough. I know a lot of our resources are focused on the Precision universe. I mean, it's important to remember that Star Marine and Arena Commander, they're not fully featured video games of themselves. We're making Star Citizen, we're making Squadron 42. They were test
Don't we know it
and stuff. So we've got the Precision universe now. That the work can be best spent iterating on the Precision universe. But who knows what the future future will hold. But
we'll never rule it out. But we
confirmed.
Also have no plans.
No more Star Citizen, Star Marine, and AC being deleted.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
No problem.
Being deleted.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
So Johnny just said he's at a Foundry 42. Thank you so much, man. For our next question,
I like his headphones. His
headset's
awesome.
in my own office. We're gonna talk to Matt Intrieri and answer a question about docking.
Oh, it freaks me out, man, that sound.
Matt, how you doing, man?
Matt, how you doing, man?
Hi, Jared. How you doing?
Well, that's like us starting our podcast.
Good to be here.
All right, so we've got a question from the backers, voted on the backers, and I think it's good for you. It says, what kind of work has been completed in making the P-52 Merlin usable from the dock mount of the ASYLUM? Very specific.
Docking.
Oh wow! How many times have we asked?
Pause,
this?
just pause it a second.
Todd
Moist.
mentioned this in last
Oh.
ATV.
Ta-da.
See, have you noticed his desk? This desk is very much like my desk. It has a it has a box of tissues on it.
I was about to mention the tissues. I always
That
notice
is-
the tissue.
That is my
Always
desk.
tissues.
It's got a box of tissues. You always need a box of tissues if you're a man and you're working on a desk for multiple uses. But the mess of that desk is very similar to mine. Look, they've got the controller, Xbox controller on the left. I'm not really listening to what they're saying. I'm always fascinated to see if I can catch any sneaky bits from behind the scenes, behind
It's
everything.
really useful when you do a podcast every week and you don't listen to what they say. You know, it's some of them.
Oh no, I do eventually.
It's so
I do
useful.
eventually. Do eventually. Right, play. Let's do it. Let's do it. Moist.
We're not currently working on that feature. We're focusing on optimization and the cockpit experience for the engineering
Fire that
team.
guy in the background.
And some
Another
cargo
professional athlete
work and
walking past
missions
there.
and things like that.
Now.
Our engineer Chris Rain will be working on what we call the multi-grid tech in 3.2 or 3.3, we're hoping, and that will give us the ability to start to implement docking, which is going to require some AI and all this auto motion to push you into place. And the multi-grid will also enable us to crack ships in half and leave the interiors and see the ship separate like you're standing on the bridge of the Titanic, which is something I've always wanted. Since
That's
we're
not what I
doing
want to
that,
see when I'm in my
I can
ship.
actually show you what I'm working on right
It's
now.
just cracking in half.
Oh, really?
It's split in half, Titanic style.
Okay, I guess maybe.
Let me pull that up here.
You could just wave
No
goodbye
idea
to
this is
each
gonna
other
be
as you
what
go
you
off in different
Just be
directions.
holding
Please don't
hands.
Do
Promise
you
me you'll live
recognize
on.
this?
Oh, okay. You're not trolling me. This is
Moist,
my
promise
favorite
me.
disclaimer.
This is the reclaimer.
Bye, madness.
So I've been working on the landing gear.
Hold on.
Wow,
The
look at that.
alarm's going off here.
Look at that, boys.
We may have to
Wow.
evacuate.
Oh,
There's
they've got
an evacuation alarm going
They've got
on.
an evacuation.
All right, go. I'm gonna mute my mic. You just show us.
Okay. So this is the reclaimer. I've been working on
Awesome.
the landing system.
Flames.
Imagine the
Flames
ship having
behind
to
him.
do a
Jared's like,
push-up.
stay there.
And so here's our VTOL deploy.
Rip Gerard.
And then the landing gear extend. Let me get a nice little angle here on this. And
What's
let me
this
do that
got to
again.
do
So
with
the landing gears
the
deploy
Merlin?
out. And they do our usual kind of
Oh,
hang.
that looks nice.
I don't know, I wasn't
pose,
listening.
and then when the
That's
springs
sexy,
start to
though.
compress, we get all this groovy pipe work, piston work that now reacts. And let me
Love that.
do that from the front so you can kind of see what's happening here. So we want the feet
Oh,
planted.
is that to do with like the suspension thing that we have on the connies and that now when it lands?
So as the
Yeah,
spring
yeah, yeah.
compresses,
So it
the feet
compresses.
plant.
So
Yeah.
good. It's such a
Gotcha.
small detail.
Remember,
but
we've
so
got a
complex.
And this
reclaimer,
almost
segment
didn't
for the next month's
happen.
ATV,
It wasn't
so-
initially planned, was
I'll
it?
save some for
Mm.
that. Yeah, we won't show the final
Looks
as they drop it on a
amazing.
planet. Which
I'm
will
very
be
jealous, I
pretty
don't have
awesome.
one.
Looking forward to that in the next couple days.
Look forward to getting one in game.
Cool. Let me flip back here.
Landing gear porn, exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
That's
Matt,
what the
for,
box of tissues are
taking
there
the
for.
time not only to answer the question.
Oh,
but
yeah.
To, give
I'm
me
sorry, I
some-
missed it though. What the hell was the answer to the Merlin and
Alright, thank
the Connie? I completely missed that.
All right,
I wasn't-
man,
listen,
sure,
I was
I'm gonna
distracted,
take
but-
a quick break, and I'm going to find out, make sure the building.
So he can go and be sick somewhere.
All right, so the building didn't burn down.
He was sick.
Yay, us. All right, and for our final question of the show this week. This is one that comes up quite a bit. All these questions come up quite a bit. It's probably why you guys are voting them up. We're going to go ahead and
yeah,
give,
well, that's a surprise.
Chad
That's funny,
Mechanical.
that.
You might remember Chad from last week's episode.
Is it 'cause I don't
Let's see if
actually
he's
answer the
available. Chad's a very
questions?
busy person, programming and engineering for 3-1. Hey, Chad, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Thank you for working me in your
He
schedule.
was
man. I know
waiting. He
you're-
was
you're a busy guy.
prepared.
It's-
Yeah.
That's always the catch-22. It's like the
I wonder how
people
many
who have the
hours he was
answers are
sat
the
there.
ones that are involved in the most.
What's the video?
No,
Who's
Jared,
playing a
probably
game?
couple of days.
Sorry for being awesome.
There's a game being
Sorry
played
for
behind
being
him.
Awesome. I don't know.
That's a YouTube video.
My throat drop is wearing off.
That's
All right.
me dying in
Chad, your
Tarkov.
question this week and the final question of this week's show about permadeath. When
Takeaways
my
there.
character dies, will I have to buy a new character, or will the game give me a new one for free?
Interesting question. There's definitely a lot of layers to that, especially considering the technical
question, though.
developments that are going on and planned. Currently, there is not any kind
Oh,
of
it's Star
penalty.
Marine.
In the future,
Yeah, I was
we
only
want to start
joking.
adding things like maybe a fee whenever you die and respawn, and then
Modern
also
Warfare.
have
No,
some
I'm
other effects tied to respawning. So things
No,
like
Titanfall.
aging of the character,
Oh, it's
wear and
Overwatch.
tear.
That's
Titanfall.
not Star Marine.
Things
Yeah, there's no
that gives
colour in
the
Star Marine.
character a sense of a lifetime and meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's Titanfall.
also another thing to take into account is that in order for you to really for this to be meaningful, we need to have multiple characters in the game, and this is something that actually we don't support currently in
Pause it a second,
the
Moist.
game, both on like the DGS.
I was going to, because I love that we're paying more attention to what's going on in the
Well, I'm trying to
background.
listen to what you're saying, and all I've got is YouTube going, no, it's Overwatch. No,
It's
it's totally
Titanfall.
Titanfall. No, it's Overwatch. It's like the
XCOM. Is it XCOM? You think it's XCOM? I was just kind of curious. I was like, so hang on, wait. So just remind me. So this is why we never watch films together. This guy here is. What was the question?
Thank you. Don't know the question.
I wasn't paying attention. This is my problem.
Oh, we get a slow tap for that.
I immediately was just drawn to. I was drawn to
The question was
background.
asked before we even had the phone call.
What
Oh,
was the question?
If you die,
Yeah.
will you have to pay for a new character?
Okay. Thank you. That's a good question. Actually, I wish I paid attention to that.
Jesus.
Can I
Sorry,
click
I just got
play,
distracted by the video in the background. That's all I'm saying. It's just, no, hang on. The other thing I was
Do
going to
you,
say
do, you
is,
want,
though,
do you want a moment to have a
Is
look and
this-
see what's in the background?
is-
There's a coffee
is
cup
this-
there, there's a plushie.
hang on. I don't need to look at. Actually, the sword thing is pretty awesome as well. The statue in the corner is pretty cool. But is the guy? Is this like he's British, right? He's UK time, right?
No, that's...
So technically, this is
is he?
after hours. Is this Squadron? This is 40. This is Foundry 42. Where
Hang
Chad is,
on.
or he's in
Listen
America?
to- hang on.
Because I just want to know if this guy's working on the job while
Sorry,
playing
the
computer
dedicated game
games.
server side, and
No,
'Cause-
that's
No.
not America. That's not the UK. He has American
That's
accent.
so he's technically working. Is it that's his lunch break, or he's working on the job now? I'm not being funny,
Oh.
but someone needs to go around there and just
Give him a hug. I'll do it.
have a word, have a quiet word.
Oh,
Quiet word. He's live on stream. Clearly, is and help him out because his shooting looks pretty off as well. Okay, moving back on to the question. He was
There's
missing
no-
targets left, right. It was terrible. I was watching him.
That's just a video. There's no one actually sitting there.
There's a guy there behind him.
there is a
Oh,
guy.
yeah,
Look
I
over his
can't
left
There's a guy.
shoulder.
You see the
Look over
red.
his
See
left
the
shoulder.
red. See the red cables going up to his. He's there. There's a guy literally
No, that's
actually
not,
playing the game.
the earphones are on the table, aren't they?
No, there's a little man behind him.
no,
He's
that's
about
the
3 foot
computer.
tall.
It's all right. It's the little riser on the
glad
monitor.
we
I
set
thought
this
it was
up.
like the headphones.
He's in the LA office. So it's basically our money's paying for somebody to play computer games. Whew.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Not even Star Citizen. I'm sorry.
You want them to play these other games so that they know what they're like. It's called research.
Oh, I use that word as well. I used to say that all the time.
Research.
I used to say that all the time. I used to
Research.
say that all the time.
I
yeah, I
use
need
Twitch
to buy
at
these
work
Adidas
for
shoes. for
research.
I need to buy these Adidas shoes and these Nike shoes.
Okay,
for
can we click play now?
research. Yeah, play.
Just click
Sorry.
play.
in the back end as far as your persistence data. And so I think ultimately we want to have it to where you can have multiple characters and some of your characters will age and get worse over time. If you want to know more about like kind of the ultimate vision of that, you should check out the article "Death of a Spaceman" from several years back, which kind of lays out
Several
Sierra's
years
kinda,
back,
I think,
yeah.
final ultimate vision for what we want this to be like.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's
Ultimate.
one of the difficulties in answering questions about development while you're in development is always speaking about the immediate, what we're working on now, speaking on the near future, what we expect to have in the coming months, and then of course the long-term goal. It's like that. So I think we pretty much covered it there. We'll put a link up to the Old Death of a Spaceman article in the video description. Everybody, you should check that out if you haven't already. It's still the ultimate plan. And I do have to say, Chad, this is 2 weeks in a row where I called you right at the time our cleaning folks are behind you. Like literally, you're talking.
The cleaning folks are the least of your issues.
How did we do this again? 2 weeks in a row. We didn't.
What you don't realize is he's just always there, man.
No.
Yeah, he just waits to go
I
live.
think
He
this is
just
just
walks
the
back
time
and
to
forth.
get me to have All right, thank you so much, Chad. I'll let you get back to work.
Well,
Wax
thanks.
on,
All right,
wax
bye.
off.
Get back to work. He's working hard, the guy in the background.
That about does it for this week's show. Special thanks to Chad McKinney and Matt Intrieri and Johnny Jasivius and Caitlin for being on the show. Don't forget, you can submit your questions for consideration each and every week up on the thread, up on Spectrum, up on robertspaceindustriescom. And don't forget to vote. It's a two-pronged plan. You got to submit questions, but you also got to vote on which questions you want to see us address each and every week. So for Citizens of the Stars, I'm Jared Huckabee. I have to go tell.
It's not
somebody
Citizens
who's
of
been
the
on
Stars.
internet
It's
TV
called the
2 weeks ago
Devs.
right now. And-
He got it wrong. I told you that
It's because he's ill. Give him a break.
He's sick.
God, miserable.
watching.
I hope you feel better.
Because that's basically as good as that's what Citizens of the Stars turned into, basically a dev fest. So
Yes. I like this new, by the way. I like the new layout. I think Call of the Devs is
I
good.
do.
I think
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So that was good. I hope we managed to get through that. And the good thing is it seems to be it's on every Monday, so we could do it every time now before we go live.
We just about got through it.
We just got through it.
Nikki, can you do me a favor? Can you just email all of your colleagues and ask them for next week to remove everything off their desks?
yes, and maybe not play Overwatch in the background, and get the name of the show right. Just a few little tips.
Right then. So what do we think? What do you think? I mean, mag boots. Obviously, we got the answer to that now, so there's no point for me talking about.
Okay,
that.
so we'll go back to the mag boots. Are you happy with the change? I mean, it's the fact that it's going to be more versatile.
Yeah, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. The thing I have an awkward boner about at the moment is the reclaimer. You know.
Yes, that was lovely.
Just don't do that with your webcam again, and we'll be all right.
No promises.
Nikki says they replace random stuff on before recording.
That doesn't surprise me.
What Ian said.
Honestly, I wait for someone to strategically place a dildo in the background somewhere. That's
please tell me there's like an internal best t-shirt competition, because every week people wear awesome t-shirts, and I assume there's like. I just assume that normally every day people wear like t-shirts with holes in and just really grubby, but then on recording day they pull out their best.
I mean, talking to t-shirts, I mean, Moist, you're wearing probably you're going for the badge today, really awesome t-shirt. Actually, Nick, if you need a t-shirt, let me know. I'm sure we could probably sort out the office with a load of t-shirts. I'm sure just make sure everyone's wearing one. We can sort something out. Don't worry.
Stick that in the background. Do we have something to talk about?
We'll stick that in the background. Like, oh look, they've got one of our t-shirts. Woo! Like throwing stones at it, burning, setting fire to it.
If you ever want to give us bad news, just put some interesting stuff in the background on the desk, and we'll all be like, it's like going, look at that on the desk, and the devs are going, I'm sorry, but Star Citizen's been cancelled.
Maybe
But look, they've
we
got
should-
a little model.
Maybe we should change the podcast, and rather than talking about Star Citizen, we should go through each of the Star Citizen videos and just discuss what's on the devs' desks.
On the desk.
To be fair, though, I do kind of like people come on my stream and then leave my stream pretty quickly when I'm watching videos because they realize that I'm not actually listening to a word what they're talking about. I'm just commenting on what they're wearing, what they're doing, the state of their hair, the condition of their, like their lips. Oh, he needs a bit of moisturizer. He's definitely needs to
Are
get
they
in the sun.
overworking?
It's like, I tell you what, like when I was looking at Jared, was chatting away, I was just thinking, I really want to be where he is right now. It looks really sunny. It looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. I was like,
I did kind of notice that all the Star Citizen hats they've got, he's just gone for a completely plain black hat.
Yep.
Why?
A black shirt. He's a man in
He's a
black.
rebel.
Isn't he?
He's his own man.
Slimming.
He's not
slimming.
controlled by
I'm
Star
not branded.
Citizen.
Slimming. I don't. Yeah, I'm unbranded today. Next week he'll be fully branded, like completely head to toe in Star Citizen
Gold
gear.
RSI chain.
If you did that, that'd be cool. I'd laugh.
God, brilliant. So, yeah, I thought it was good. I like the Spectrum bit, actually. I like the fact that they're talking about, engaging with us, trying to get some better. I mean, whether the proof will be in the result at the end of the day, because I still think, like we've talked about it before, the webpage I still find overly confusing, and it's supposed to be simplified. I think they can really do that.
They
continue to improve.
It was a little bit misleading, I think, when the new website came out. There were new aspects to the website, but I think the rest of it was like put within the new website, if that makes sense. So like it's not an intuitive website whatsoever, but what they added I thought was quite good.
Yes, I agree. Some of the bits were good additions, but however, it's just like we spoke about it. I remember we spoke very heavily about it before. We're in agreement. I think myself and Miz and stuff is just use some of the gaming language that we all understand and just keep it very clean at the beginning, so we can differentiate the MMO world of Star Citizen and the single player campaign of Squadron, not the adventure starts.
Please add a pirate language. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There's one thing that that Hunt Showdown, which you shouldn't mention the Crytek game on here, but I got an email to get into the beta, and they actually sent with the email a little tutorial video, and I think something like that would be kind of good, like just a very basic official video that tells you what it is about, maybe, and maybe that should be the first screen that comes up to you. And then, if everything else is so difficult for them, maybe just a little. And Star Citizen is this.
I know straight away what the argument would be. Like, I am under no illusion whatsoever that Jared and the rest of the community team are absolutely rammed with work at the moment. However, it can still be done. They can use videos from board and other content creators who have already made those tutorials and just make them citizen spotlights in like a web page format or an email format.
Well, they already do. I mean, you link to the videos of stuff like tutorials and interesting things. They have done it.
Do they do that when you first sign up for an account, for example?
I don't know.
You probably want an official one, but I mean, I'm not on about like a massive long tutorial how you play the game. Just a little bit of what you actually. I mean, like we had the very first intro when the Kickstarter happened. And people, the whole Kickstarter video is basically explaining what the project's about and everything else. It doesn't need to be kind of that long, but just maybe like what the packages and stuff is. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. When I got the tutorial thing, it was quite useful.
So yeah, and then they heard about the buying your the bodies, if you die and stuff, you can, what did you guys think about, the decision?
We didn't really hear about the bodies.
Yeah, what was the outcome of that? I was too busy looking at the screen.
So, I was really focused. I was hoping you guys actually knew, because I was teeing on, because I don't know what the answer was. What did they say? Somebody in chat, just fill us in.
I don't think he really answered it, other than they want to have multiple characters. Some of them are supposed. I mean, there's nothing we haven't heard. Some of them are supposed to age, and then you just referred back to Death of a Spaceman, which is like at least 2 years old now, I think, and said that that's their overall goal, which we all know anyway. I mean, the actual question was, will it cost to have a new character if your character dies? And I suppose the real answer was they don't know, because it's still in development. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there you go.
But I suppose the thing is, we asked for. That's what he said. It's a question that comes up a lot. And I suppose because we keep asking it, that's at least now got an answer to it. And I think that's what they're trying to cover a little bit. That people keep asking this instead of just keep saying not yet, not yet.
Yeah, people keep demanding like black and white answers when there are no black and white answers. And when a dev accidentally gives a black and white answer, people scream at them for lying. It's like, oh.
Well, I think the thing is you got to understand, like there's a 2 year, like someone's saying, it's like a 2-year-old video, and that's the reality. Is we're 5 years in now, and people are, just kind of going. We've got new people constantly coming on who don't have access, don't want to go back to a 2-year-old video on YouTube to try and figure out what the answer is. They want to know what it is now. So they do have to. There is, like us, when we do streaming and we do podcasts and do everything, we have to. There's a percentage of repetition that we have to do. As much as I get frustrated, I go, I've said it before. I have to kind of correct myself and go, well, actually, it doesn't matter. I have to repeat myself sometimes. It's a bit irritating, but it's just the way it is, and it's the same with Star Citizen. And I get a little bit annoyed as an old backer, because I sometimes go, "Oh God damn it, I've seen this like 15 times. Surely, But then I have to check myself and go, "Well, there are always new people. We do have to respect that." So that was good. I enjoyed it. It's always fun to see the people behind the scenes. I enjoyed that a lot more than what they had before. I think it's good. So we're going to go through some general topics of conversations from Reddit and just go through some few bits and bobs. Then we're going to lead into some ATV, reverse to verse conversations. We'll probably get to questions fairly quickly today, I think. So if exclamation question, if you want to ask us some questions, and we'll try and chat with you guys as much as we possibly can today, and just have a really chilled out podcast today. So it should be fun. So I'll go through some of the things that I've seen on Reddit that I found interesting. So there's, because a lot of the stuff is about combat, so I'm just going to show you guys a quick video from Whitesnake. Now Whitesnake, if you've never seen Whitesnake,
please can we have the music as well? Oh no, we're not going to be able to hear it. The music just makes that video.
The music is on. I'm just going to pause it. So if you haven't seen this, I'm going to bring it on now. So basically, Whitesnake, if you haven't seen this video, Whitesnake has got it here. We probably heard the music briefly, but here you go. So we have 3.0.1 dogfighting on the right hand side, and we have 1.3 in Battle Royale. Now this is going way back, so this is just to show you the comparison of the two. Now, if you haven't seen this,
I watched this video, I didn't realize how bad it had become. Like, it really does highlight that combat right now is just jousting.
Well, they said it was jousting before. That's why they tried to change it.
Yeah, but if you look at the video in 1.3, it's clearly not jousting.
So if you just watch, now what's interesting is I noticed that you black out a lot more in the older one. So you tend to go, your screen goes blurry a lot more.
I remember that.
The speed's higher. Also, what I find interesting is like the layout and the information that you had. If you notice, if you look on the left-hand side in terms of your display on your helmet and information, there's so much more information on the screen versus actually what you get on the right-hand side. Again, this is the Gladiator. Again, I still prefer the Gladius as always. Previously, this is older than even I remember, but I actually quite liked it. And here's the thing: I was looking at it going, and the improvements, how? Like, we can see that the space is improved, the darkness is improved, the overall kind of detailing is improved, but I mean, I was just watching this guy trying to kill this thing, and I was just like, yeah, the ESP is fucked, is the best way to describe it. And this is I would love to see him do a comparison. I'm gonna send Whitesnake an email and to message and say, could you do the same again, but do another one comparison for 2.5 and do another comparison for 2.6.3 versus it, just to kind of see, because I don't know about you guys, but I actually quite liked the left-hand side, the information we saw here on the left-hand side where we got the kind of the layout and stuff versus this kind of tiny little thing. It feels like a bit of a backward step.
Well, they tried to move it all to the panels, didn't they? But like to a certain degree, I agree. I like having some of that HUD information up because you're having it on your visor.
You can switch it on or off. Give us the option.
My opinion is that we have these visors. So yes, the panels being there, they should be there in case for some reason your visor doesn't work. Yeah. However, give us the information on the visor as well.
Well, there's also like on the display board, you can toggle through different things. Mm-hmm. So there's an option to have the information on the visor and different information on those panels, but like toggling through, so you could switch it all around.
Yeah. And if you look at, but what I do like, and I'm going to be on, I do like the increased size HUD displays on the right hand side. Being able to read the information is good. Don't get me wrong. I think that is a good thing. But I just think I liked still also having this information that they've got, especially for the ship. Look at the size of the ship. I can actually see my target on my screen really clearly and nicely on the top right hand side on 1.3, whereas on the right hand side it's like teeny. Everything's like suddenly they've gone, we'll make everything that was down here on the left hand side in the MFDs really, really big, and we'll make everything that was on the screen before really, really tiny on your helmet displays. It's kind of like they've just literally reversed everything, and I'm a bit like, it's a bit of a missed opportunity for me, but it was just good to see, and I just realized like the flight mechanics haven't got better. That was my thing. I was like, they've got worse, which isn't good. Sorry, it's really bad. So anyway, that was a really good thing I saw from on Reddit, and because we're talking about balancing later on, I just thought that was really cool to have the videos for that. We obviously talked about the mag boots, and then now we're going to talk about the concept ship speculation. So on ATV and RTV, I don't know if is this later on, Miz? Did you want to talk about this, or am I cool carrying?
No,
about it now? So they mentioned about we might be getting a new ship unveiled next Thursday, which probably means we'll have a concept cell to go with it. What ships do you guys think it's going to be? I mean, personally, I think it's going to be either the Vulture or somebody on Reddit said possibly the Titan armor. So I'll be curious.
I don't know, but if it's another combat ship, I'm going to be really depressed.
He did say something about it being a ship, I think, because he said ship shapes returning. I mean, I suppose it could still be the Titan armor, but he said ship shapes returning, and they're showing off the Terrapin and another brand new ship that we haven't heard. Did he say you haven't heard of? May have been something like that. I have no idea at this point. Like you said, I mean, we're not expecting to see more combat ships. They said they're not going to show us more, but then we get more, so...
Yeah, so you guys, you've got no idea.
No idea, but I'd like to see something a little bit more industrial or not a ship at all.
Yeah, more industrial, not ship. So it would be kind of cool if they showed us that mining, like land vehicle.
That would be awesome.
We saw the picture.
Any land vehicles, I'd be happy with. Any armors, like mechy type things, I'd be happy with. Just anything that's not combat ship.
Okay, so yeah, because you're all yeah.
Well, it's not even that. We've just seen so many combat ships now.
I'm with you on that one. I want more civilian ships in the game. I want more civilian or industrial type vehicles. I am a bit like, I was disappointed with the Tonk, if I'm being honest. I didn't really want the Tonk. I didn't feel the need for the Tonk personally.
Yeah. I've actually given my Tonk away now.
The one with the tank, whatever you want to call it, it seemed kind of like an odd time to introduce it when we haven't even, we've got nothing that represents land-based we haven't even got land.
I think they did it
farming. Yeah,
from a marketing standpoint, I think they were very clever. They did it at a time when everybody was hyped about going down to the ground.
But then there's a numerous amount of ground vehicles they could have.
Yeah.
Well, Moist talking about being hyped about going to the ground. That's quite funny. But yeah, no, it's
okay. So apparently Edison is hinting towards a stealth cargo transport ship.
Stealth cargo transport.
Oh, that would actually
If there's
be
one of those,
cool.
I'm swapping all my ships for that because that sounds like a smuggler's dream. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll have one. Edison Trent doesn't normally get a few.
I wonder if I will be able to use it as my Assassin Guild ship that I was kind of tempted. We're talking about the other week as well. That's one of my. I've spoken about the vehicles I'd like as stealth, or a kind of like a truck.
This isn't D&D, man.
And
I do love the idea of
Assassin's Guild
a smuggling ship. Stuffing people into holes just sounds fantastic.
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does.
Calm yourself.
Unbelievable. Can't take him anywhere. So the other thing I was going to ask you...
It's on a stealth cargo ship. Take him anywhere.
They'll never catch me.
They'll never catch you. Is something I didn't know about. It's something called agent smithing. And I'm going to read it out. Now, you guys...
Didn't we talk about this before?
I don't know if we did. Did we do that? This is a long time ago. They read about this mechanic. So if you hold multiple game packages, this grants you a customizable NPC, just a cosmetic, but your friend should be able to jump into its place and take control if needed.
I had never heard of this, but I think it sounds fucking awesome. And it sounds a bit like what they do with Elite Dangerous. If you have a ship, then you can have a friend. They make it like a hologram type thing, and they appear next to you in your co-pilot seat. So it is a good way to...
Gray did talk about this type of thing, I think, last week. He was talking about how, to do with jumping for great distances, they want to be able to, in order for your friends to play with you, you could potentially jump into an NPC. But I don't think he was talking about... I don't know, I'll have to check with Gray later, but he might not have been specifically mentioning this thing called agent smithing. He might have been. He's old school, so he might be talking about that.
It was a full thing that we all discussed.
Yeah.
It was about the very old the reason people bought multiple packages in the early days was because they were told that each package you have will become an NPC on your ship. And then what they then said is, those NPCs on your ship, a friend will be able to log on, and if they are miles away from you, they can then pick the role of one of your NPCs on your ship.
Gotcha.
Now, that was a long, long time ago, and I think we talked about it before, and we said that they're not planning on doing that again. but I could be wrong.
They've said they haven't said yes. It's like, again, like a lot of things we start saying, they haven't denied that they won't do it. They just said they're not working. It's not a priority, so it's not something that we don't. It might happen, but it's not. They've got other things to deal with, so we'll wait and see. But it was just because I'd never heard of the term agent smithing, so I read it and I was like, well, I think that's what we were talking about last week, but I just wanted to check.
It was because basically obviously the Matrix, he just turns up whoever he wants to be by taking it. It's not an official term by CIG or anything. It's just what happens in the Matrix. The Smith takes over whatever person he wants to.
Yeah. And it was like I was kind of because Cray was talking about in terms of for like traveling great distances, and then I was like agents. But anyway, interesting. And then the other thing is we see a sneak peek. Again, this could be something that comes very soon. It was just the Misk Razor. They showed us another picture of it, like kind of exploding on the sea.
Any ship exploding makes me so happy.
which was pretty cool.
They've done an amazing job of explosions in this game.
They have,
and blue as well. So Misk, because they change the color dependent on the manufacturer with the explosions, don't they? Like the engines. So I'm assuming Misk is blue explosions.
I would assume so. We'll see. No, because the Andromeda is the constellation's not Misk, and that gives you a big blue explosion when that blows up.
Oh, so is it the engine?
I think it might be the engine. It's what's blowing up, basically. It's linked to what's actually being blown up.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And then here's an interesting thing. So this was another thing I was saying about. So someone was talking about warnings to CIG, basically, and they were talking about how taking a little bit extra time to make sure that they don't fuck up when they post information out there. And this I was like curious because I want to download this tool. It's basically a tool called on subreddit, which enables you to capture all of the CIG devs' replies. Okay, so you can capture everything, and whether they delete this or not, it's there permanently. And so you can capture all their replies. So sometimes, obviously, they'll take things down where they've made a mistake and stuff. But this tool enables you to have everything that they've ever said. And so basically, the person's saying is they need to be careful because obviously everyone's going to be able to, they should, at the beginning of when they say stuff, they should be much more clear about what this actually means. Like, we've had the Will Mason thing where he, didn't cock up, that's not true, but he didn't explain clearly, or people misinterpreted what he was saying.
It's a really difficult topic because in my last job I worked for a big corporation and I would have to post things publicly, but whenever I did post things publicly, I was smart enough to say at the end of the post, there's a caveat to this. One, we're a big company and sometimes I do miss internal information, and two, I'm an idiot, so it could be wrong anyway.
I may well type things wrong.
So it's I think it's catch-22 because I don't want SIG to get to the point where they're devs are too scared to post stuff in case they get it wrong.
Yeah, I think this is kind of why we're getting a lack of information at times. Like everyone moans that we get communication from CIG a lot, or the communication is not very good. And I think this is partly it, because it's like, every time someone says something that may well have been wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. For me personally, they're just devs that are working on it. And unless it's I think it's better that unless it's an official statement and they come out and say this is an official statement, everything else should be taken at least face value. So it's like, this is what we've been discussing, this may happen, but everybody seems to be like, that's gospel, you said it now, you're a dev, that's gospel, which it never should be. And they should have a way of saying, look, unless you see this with an official tag at the start, just take it as an internal discussion or whatever, and let devs speak the way they want to speak. Because and I hate the fact that everybody just jumps on stuff and says, well, no, you promised this. No one's promising it unless even fucking official shit they still go back on, because they can't do it. There's no point. They can say they want to do something, but if technology doesn't allow it, there's no point in them wasting a year trying to hammer a piece of technology that just doesn't work. There's got to be a cut-off point where you turn around and say it's not good enough. So I hate and being able to go back on what people are saying and saying, well, if they delete it and remove it, they've deleted it for a reason. Having this tool that keeps an official record of everything they said is a bit harsh.
Yeah, it is harsh. Said, then what game dev communicates to its player base better than SIG? None. And I do agree, and I would rather have the odd bit of misinformation
But
and have nothing at all.
What game has had the same amount of crowdfunding from its community than any other game? None. Star Citizen. So
I've known other games that do communicate well.
Bloody well should be. It bloody well should be if it's going to be the best. I mean, the best is, again, it's very open for personal interpretation. But Miz has said a few things about a few other open development source games, which I kind of go, ooh, they do that really nicely. But like we were talking about rewards and stuff. To backers and stuff, we think that they should do more to reward people, which actually there's something on the Hanger Flare which they've done recently. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yes.
Whilst we're talking about it, so the Hanger Flare, I'll just bring it up very quickly, which is a good thing because we're talking about rewarding the citizens. So the Hanger Flares, if you're a certain level Hanger Flare, you get a different customized pose. So if you're it will be.
This was something I was complaining about just before Christmas. I was so fed up of getting the same thing, and also with the the Imperator. You just get a second thing of the same, and it's like it was completely pointless, and it just didn't encourage me to be an Imperator. So now I probably actually will.
It encourages people who are Imperator to give it away. Really, that was the thing. Is there's a lot of people
it used
who are
to. Now it's
subscribers
not going
just
to.
give it.
Yeah.
Now it's not going to be quite so. But I thought it was. People might keep this one and then get rid of the more standard one. You know what I mean? That's the way you might do it. You might go, I prefer this pose, but it's just nice.
Anything.
That's nice. I was like, I thought that's nice. I was like, that's cool. At least they're actually genuinely looks like they're adding a few things. So that was pleasing. And I agree with you, Citizen. I do think that they are, in terms of they are the best, and I think that I think they're the best that I've ever worked with in terms of communicating back to the community. However, they could do better, but they should.
Let's put it this way: in terms of how many employees SIG has, I think they do a very, very good job of communicating. Yes, I've seen little small teams of devs communicating well, but when it's a small team of you in one small office,
no one's saying that we've just been streaming a while. You get them to come on and they say hello, and not saying that interaction is different to communication. And there's been big chunks of time when we've had a drought of no real information about what's coming on, and there's been plenty of podcasts about it before. I'm not going to go on about it, but it's more official. That's what I'm talking about. These official information. I like the interaction. I love the fact that the devs come on and chat to us and give you little snippets of information, even just to say hi and watch you stream in the game and things like that. I remember when I was doing bug testing streaming a while back, and I had some of the devs coming on just to watch, just so they can see.
We've got Nicky in chat at the moment. I think Matt's a dev as well.
Yeah,
right?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really lovely.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, I think it's.
And so that sort of support for the community is great. It's just sometimes, and they with this new show like Calling Devs and things like that, the information's been a lot better. It goes up and down. They have times when they do really well at communicating. There's other times when sometimes it's like when there's been misinformation that's come out, and it seems to take forever before someone comes back and says, "Oh no, we've met. That wasn't what we meant by it." But they've definitely got a lot better at that. There's been quite a few recent things where I think the next day on Spectrum there's been clear up saying, look, let me just clear up what was said on ATV last night or what a dev said the other day. So that's happened a lot more, which is really good.
Yeah, I think
there was a chunk a while back that wasn't.
Gerard can kind of clean it up, I think, quite nice. I think with the call asking the dev thing that we get on Mondays and stuff, I think it's great because then if he has made a mistake or if there has been a misinformation, they can clear it up on that show as well as clearing it up through Spectrum through text. They can also do a video one as well, which I think is great. But no, it's more, I think it was more, the post was basically just saying be warned and trying to help. It was basically, I think the person was trying to say, look, watch out, CIG, be careful, take your time, don't, and I think they already kind of do, but it was just, I think it was trying to be actually,
I think it wasn't worded very well, probably was the
take
issue.
Your time. I think so. Yeah. So that's that, and then the other thing I was going to say is there's an improved graph which talks about weekly changing stuff. I'm not going to show it. You guys can go and check it out. I'll put it in chat. You guys can check it out if you've never seen it. So this is the graph, a graph link to give you an idea of the weekly changes. It also talks about things that are being moved around and stuff. So it just shows you what they're working, how things are progressing and stuff like that. So it's quite interesting. What's changed so you can see if they're failing or succeeding and stuff, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, because the other thing that's been happening is that the roadmap, I haven't had a chance to have a look at it, but that's because it's linked into their internal system thing, that things are getting added and changed on that all the time.
A few things have moved around already,
which is a much nicer system than we had before. So again, that goes towards like getting more information out there.
Beacon is a perfect example of that. I think people noticed this week that the beacon has been brought forward to 3.1 from 3.2.
Yeah.
And I think they always said that's it. The roadmap is just like a guideline of where things are. If things get done sooner, then it gets moved forward. If things get pushed back, like they said already, we're going to get the quarter releases. If it's not done in time, it then goes to the next quarter. So again, it's like everything. You got to take it as that's where they want to release it, and when it comes out, it's two different things.
Awesome.
I suspect the caveat with that is that, although taking the beacon for an example, if they get some sort of block, it could always get pushed back to 3.2.
Yeah.
So I think people get really excited about seeing it being moved forward, but it can be moved back as well.
I suppose that's the downside to so much info, isn't it? It's like, yes, it's coming next week. Oh shit, it's gone back again. But what you're seeing is the internal side of things. This is what they see as devs. It's like, oh shit, that's coming next week. Oh, that's really good. And then the disappointment when something flares up that they didn't expect. It's like, oh shit, that's okay.
But I think
push it
something I keep trying to remind people is temper your own expectations.
Yeah, it's more our fault than theirs. It's like you see something, it's like, oh shit, it's done. No, it's not.
Yeah.
There's only a few things I'm looking for. Like when I hear things like the beacon stuff being moving forward, I'm getting excited. I get excited because it's a new gameplay. I get excited because the beacon mechanic talks about us being able to create our own gameplay and pay other people. That is a big freaking gameplay move. So for me, that is exciting. Anything that's just that. If I hear them talk about them moving something in the other direction away, then I'm like, oh my god. Like if they suddenly said we're moving forward, the Idris, whatever, I'd be excited because it's a big ship. There was a
moment.
I would be excited. But
there was a moment years ago when I was playing EVE Online where I had to meet somebody in nullsec at a bookmark, which is essentially a beacon. And I arrived and it was just me and him, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I was in a really expensive ship, and I was desperate, I was lost, and all of a sudden this small fleet just jumped on top of me, and it was a trap. And I look forward, like at the time, I stopped playing EVE Online. I rage quit and that was that. But I can't wait for moments like that, and the beacon.
You quitting Star Citizen.
That's it.
We're not encouraging
I don't care
that.
Much I spent.
I basically got jumped and got into a trap. I loved it so much that I quit because I hated it, and now I can't wait for that Star Citizen.
I never played EVE again. That's not. You haven't quite sold that one very well, Moist.
Wow.
You haven't sold that very well at all. What you mean is it left a lasting impression on you?
Yes, and it's one of the moments of gaming I will never forget, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
You never played the game again. Eve lost money out of your subscriptions.
No, honestly, the moment I will always remember Eve will be the moment I stopped playing.
It's true. I'm the same. Do you know what though? I had pretty much, not quite the same, but very similar experience with the game. I played it for almost a year. I was already getting so close to being able to plex my account and be able to pay for it without me having to pay any more of my real money. And I was enjoying the game. I really was. The only thing was annoying was the community in terms of just it was just shit in that sense. But that was for something else I'll explain later. But the gameplay, I spent all day playing, and then I went to nullsec, and then I ended up getting spied by somebody. Like you go in. I was doing like a hacking a terminal, and then somebody was just sat there, invisible, waiting for me to do it. And then he just uncloaked himself and shat on my parade. And I spent all day, and I had loads of good stuff, like worth loads of money.
For those who do know EVE Online, I was in a fully faction-fitted Balgorn, and I got wrecked. That was, and back then, I don't know if it means anything now, but back then, that was a ridiculously expensive setup. So
I could,
my own fault, really. But there we go.
Should have gone with friends.
I was. They all got wrecked.
They all got wrecked as well.
They were like, "Oh, it'll be fine. Come down. It'll be a laugh." I was like, "All right," and then we got wrecked.
you got wrecked and you lost your beautiful ship. But that's going to happen. That will happen in Star Citizen. There's no question that will happen in Star Citizen. So it will, and that brought me to one of my things. Is somebody made a comment like, and this comes back to my most hated thing in Star Citizen. Well, there's two really things I hate at the moment with the patch. One is interdiction because it's ridiculous, and the other one is because it's just all the time. And the other one is the waiting time. And I've said this before, and I'll keep preaching this one because for me it's a big deal. We keep being punished because the game is broken by having to wait for our ships. I can understand if the game is finished and I crash my ship and it's really stable and there's no bugs and everything's running pretty smoothly for hours on end and nothing breaks. I can understand having to wait for my spaceship. But when the game breaks often because of interdiction, and because the game is constantly crashing all the time, and I want to play and fly in my Cutlass quite a lot because I love that ship, and I have to wait 7 minutes even on paid Expedia, all I'm doing is sat there looking at a screen waiting for it. It pisses me off.
But it's like I said before, I think they put the insurance in too early.
Pisses me off. So roll it back, get rid of it.
I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. Take interdiction out of the live servers and put it onto the PTU. That way it's still being tested, and the people who don't have the patience can still play the game.
In ATV, RTV, they do mention about the interdiction and that they found that it was buggy and they've got a fix for it, I think. But
they have a fix for one of the issues, because I know that Jared mentioned that when he was playing, he triggered an interdiction.
It was funny as
the
hell.
Ships never turned up on his server, but they turned up on another dev's server. And they fixed that particular issue. But that's something else that people forget. When you have bugs in games like Star Citizen, it's not normally just one bug. There's not just one cause. There can be multiple causes of it. So when they say we fixed a bug, doesn't mean the overall issue is fixed.
No. Because they also said the other issue they had was they were then the AI were interdicting themselves, which is crazy. So they were basically interdicting their own ships, which was causing multiple interdictions. So everybody's just interdicting.
They're sentient.
It's just gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? Really, at that point, you're just going, it's gone a little bit wrong. Maybe we should roll this one back, guys. And I really do hope they've shown it. I kind of like it. Bring it back when it's a bit more, when you've worked on it, polished it a bit more, and it works a bit better, and then bring it back again for a little bit, test it, and then roll it back again until it's perfect. I think it's the same with, like I said, it's the same with this insurance timing and stuff. You've shown us it, it's kind of there, but the game is too broken, and you're punishing us that are playing it with time that is precious at the moment, for me especially, not for everyone, but for me. Time is
I only
precious.
have about 2 hours a night.
I don't have 5 cutlasses. And so for me, waiting 7 minutes, for wanting to fly my Cutlass is frustrating at the moment. And when the game's live, or implement it so I can buy a spaceship, I can buy the Cutlass, or I can steal it and have multiples of it, as many as I want.
I just don't see the purpose of it at the moment.
I've forgotten, buying ships in game, is that 3.1 or 3.2?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, Merrick. So that's just that's it, really. I mean, I know a lot of people have other things, but for me, you do that, I think it would make it a bit more fun just to be able to get back in the game quicker and not having to stick around waiting for stuff would be a little improvement for me.
I think it would be nice as well, like just for now, it's like pick a respawn point. So if you wanted to try go straight to a planet,
that would be
if we could all just say, right, I want to respawn at Levski, and then you could, because I want to go and do say the rover racing or something like that, but to get everybody together, then to get them all on the same server, to get them on a ship that's not buggy, then to get all the way over to respawn Earth rovers, it seems to be almost impossible. For now, just give us that. Let us do,
Yeah. Oh, and do you know what? I don't know about you. How many people? I mean, I am now constantly spawning at Levski, and the frames are in the toilet before I get out of Levski, and I was again, this is the thing. I was showing my father the game for the first time, and I had spawned the Aquila, and he was watching it, going, as I was trying, and then it was watching it stuck on the pad like this, doing this dancing thing where it's rubber banding back, and then we took off, and then I pointed it at, like, you know, to go to, I don't know, yellow or whatever. Then all of a sudden the ship went to the left, and then was suddenly smashed and exploded into a an asteroid, and then it crashed. My whole game crashed, and I just sat there and I looked at my dad and I was like, it doesn't ever do that, I promise. That's the first time. other than the bit that was jumping in the air and the frames, I was like, yeah, those things are kind of legit, but that one weird thing where it jumps, that's new. I've never seen that before. And my dad was just like, yeah, do you think they've bitten off a bit more than they can chew, these guys? I was like, maybe. But he was impressed. He went, oh, it's visually, I can see it's beautiful, but he was a bit like, yeah, come back and show me when it's working a bit better.
A lot of my friends, I have
gameplay.
I have told most of my friends to hold off. Until the game is more stable and when we have a better frame rate. Because I know most of my friends wouldn't be able to handle it. No way.
It takes a certain kind of sadistic person to play a game, but it's so buggy.
This is it, like
over and over again, every day.
It's like when you Moist, when you were saying about like understanding bugs and like the fact that bugs like, you know, are never really fixed. Anyone here that's been playing the game for more than a year and played through multiple patches, like I've played through multiple patches now, I know things like the helmet disappearing bug and the gun, you know, the attachment bugs where things fall off, or the doors trapping you back down in the spaceship, or you know, there's certain bugs like, you know, being trapped on the pad now is kind of a bug that, you know, they'll fix, and then I'm sure at some point probably suddenly rubber banding will come back again at some point, and we'll be like, oh, I thought the doors disappearing, I thought they fixed this bug, oh, the doors have suddenly disappeared again. It's just, it's like when people
say I thought they fixed this bug, bear in mind that they're hot patching the servers. So when they say we fix it, when they hot patch it the next day and we don't know about it, they probably break it again. You know, we don't know how many of these hot patches they're dropping and how frequently. So,
well, we should do, because it should come up on our patch, shouldn't it?
No, because the server software is completely independent to our client software. That's running its own version. So,
okay. So, all right, interesting. Why wouldn't they tell us though?
They don't really need to, I guess. It would be nice if they did. Like,
hey,
but
guess what, guys?
Again, if you've got like 5 guys working in the office overnight because they think they're going to get it fixed and they push it out, then it's not really their job to put the patch notes out. So
I guess they do that catch up video, you know, every couple of months or something to show us what they've actually been working on. So it's fine. Somebody mentioned something. I'll save that for a question actually, so we'll do that later. Refunding. This is a big one. Okay. This a big one to me. It might not be the same thing for everyone, but they've clarified the refunding system. So for all those people that out there say, "Yay, go get money, you can refund easily," it's not quite so cut and dry anymore. So I'm going to bring it up for you guys. So CIG are making they've clarified it a bit. So all pledges, for these reasons, you cannot get your pledge funds back, even if you participate in in-game items, takes blah blah blah, or undergo. So it looks to me like if we say to people, "Oh, you know, if you want your money back." Read it. I mean, you read it to yourself, and you can tell me if you disagree. But there will obviously be special circumstances, I would imagine. But pretty much, it's final and tough shit. You know, you should know what you're getting into now. You know what I mean? It's like you're crowdfunding, you're building the game. What do you expect? You're going to get your money back.
I know we'll never see it, but I'm really curious to know how much money has been refunded up to this point. I
know quite a few people who've had money back. I know quite a few people. Yeah, we've had full accounts returned to them, and you know they've always been pretty good. But this looks like that perhaps they're maybe wanting to say now, you guys should know. Do you know what I mean? You know,
at no point, unless you backed in the Kickstarter days, no, they're not obliged to refund anyway because it's their own thing. Whereas if they you know, kind of said no refunds, they would look like the bad guy. Whereas now, I think this is them again. When I'm talking about tempering expectations, I think this is them doing that, and they're gonna dig their heels in the sand and say no.
Well, you have,
as long
you have
as
to eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then this is where it comes back to us saying then you need to make sure your information that you're providing for the customer is spot on, in my opinion, and clear, and the community really does understand exactly what's going on.
You have to prove, or they have to prove, I don't know which way around, I'm not a lawyer, but basically that when you're buying the package you didn't understand what you're buying into. Otherwise it's like people that have old packages from the Kickstarter, I think they may well still be able to get refunds or valid reasons for it if it's not meeting what they were expecting. Whereas you're buying a new package on a brand new website that tells you fully what you're doing and what you're supporting, then you can't just go and get a refund. It's you just can't.
I think the Spectrum, Spectrum handheld console thing is a good example of that, where the backers of that project have been waiting so long. Kickstarter actually threatened to refund everybody.
Yeah.
So interesting what Disposable says. He says it's pretty easy. He says funding Star Citizen is now equal to pre-ordering. But that's not... is that what you think, or is that actually official? Because they refer to it as pledging. So you're pledging rather than... You're not pre-ordering, you're pledging. That's why you have to pay taxes. If you want, you can cancel your pre-order. There's nothing that CRG can legally do against that until they deliver the game. You can step back from the order, period. It's all in the disclaimers before you pledge.
I don't know if that's true. I know what he's saying for legal terms in different games, but I don't know.
If you didn't read it, this is the thing. This is quite. I mean, it has to happen. Star Citizen can't be in the business of. It's like they're then. We need to spend money to do stuff, but it's like buyback. So like on PayPal, when people give you a load of money and then trolled you, I'll take it all back again, and then you're left with the bill. CRG at some point, will have to take protection against people. I've given you 20 grand, but now, I want my 20 grand back again because
it's still listed. It's still listed as a pledge.
So here's my question to you guys. If there was some sort of mass exodus for any reason, do you reckon Star Citizen would actually be in trouble financially?
I think if because if you think about it, I mean, on paper, yes, because it's backed by us.
Because this isn't you do understand this isn't their only source of income, right?
No, the subscriptions have made them a lot of money.
No, not even subscriptions. They're going to be selling. They're going to be selling their own software, and I can almost guarantee you that they have investors.
No, we know that. I know they've got investors, and of course, there's going to be money. But in terms of, I still believe a huge chunk of their money comes from us lot.
Well, obviously.
So if you ask me if they'll be in trouble,
but I wonder. I also wonder how much money they've actually spent up to this point.
Quite a lot. Quite a lot, I would say. Not all of it, but quite a lot. You've got studios. You've got you've got failed projects.
The biggest cost of any company is the salaries.
Yeah, you got 400 staff. So there's actually if you want Moist, there's some people have done on Reddit where there's if you look for the financials, somebody's done it and they've shown like the actual money. Like
oh really?
I think they said this year. I think they said this year potentially. I think it was or last year. I think it was. They were saying that Star Citizen will be the first year that in terms of money coming in versus money going out on salaries and things like that hasn't quite before for the first 4 years they've just had just like money pouring in. But this year's the first year where salaries and stuff has been
theoretically. I mean, they haven't been given the data, so they can't just say that. This is all still theory crafting by it. They're just working out how many staff, how much they roughly think they get paid, and everything else.
Yeah.
Plus, CIG just go, oh, hang on, we need some more money. Let's put a concept ship out. Oh, I don't think there's another few more million. That'll pay another few wages for a few months.
Exactly. So, I mean, Star Citizen is an incredibly profitable game. One of the biggest games for grossing, in terms of money. It makes them one of the largest subscription games. It sounds silly, isn't it? But it's actually
as long as there isn't a mass exodus.
But if there is a mass exodus, if there was to be a mass exodus from this game. The game would be definitely in jeopardy. There's no question. That's why they constantly thank us.
So here's another question to the two of you.
Yeah.
If there was a mass exodus and Star Citizen crumbled overnight, would you guys still be happy with what you've got?
Yeah.
Up to that point.
And
for me, I would say yes, because I've really enjoyed just following the development.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I would be disappointed, very disappointed, and I would.
I mean,
shed many
backed
tears.
a couple of I know one at least that I've got is like an alpha game that's just stopped getting developed. Well, actually, I think they started working on it again, but so it happens. Hours played and the amount I've got back from it easily outweigh the money that's been spent on it for sure. And so in that respect, I wouldn't be bothered. But then on the other respects, it's just completely disappointed with it not being made is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty much exactly the same. I would be disappointed, but I would be happy with what I had at that point. And I've made a lot of friends through this game as well. So
I would be asking for a refund, though. I'm not an idiot. I'd be joining the mass exodus and being like, give me some of my money back. But I wouldn't be happy if they. I wouldn't be too crushed if they said no. Oh, they only gave me a percentage back like everyone else. Then
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say this right now. It won't happen. It's going to be done. This game is. There's too much on the line. It will be made. This game will be excellent.
These are
what
just
in what it's meant to be for Chris Roberts. So that's the way I look at it. He's a perfectionist. He knows what he wants. He's making the game for himself, effectively, and we're on the journey. So whatever it makes, it will be amazing. Whether I like the game at the end of the day, that's just for me to decide later on.
I mean, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, there's still, like you said before, there's potential that so much has changed and his vision isn't what you actually thought it was, that it may come out and you still don't actually like the game. That might happen as well. It's like, actually, no, I don't like how realistic this is or how bad I am at trying to land a freaking
Oh, you know
ship.
what? This Star Citizen isn't what I was expecting. I'm going to go back to Sea of Thieves now. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. It might not be fun. It might not be the fun, action.
Should not be in space.
No, it's going to be so slow. Like, it's going to take me. That was one of the things my old man was like. He was like, it doesn't have to take a long time to get places, does it? And the thing was, for him, he was like, does it really matter? Like being able to travel from one planet to the other thing. He's like, I don't really care about the load screen. At least it's quicker. Do you know what I mean? That was his kind of like his mindset was like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? He's like, why does it really matter that I can go from this location to this location?
But here's the thing: we're gonna have
He's like.
Games within the game. So, you're playing to people who like that play style. If people just want if they want the loading screens, if they're happy to put up with the loading screens, then they can play like Star Marine, for example, or Arena Commander.
I've been putting up with loading screens and I have a massive loading screen when I first start the game anyway, because it's black screen for fucking ages because I'm using a HDD rather than an SSD drive. So I get like ages wait, but once it's warmed up, it's fine. For some reason, it only takes me like 30 seconds once I'm into the game for the first time.
Do you do you spin the hard drive just to get it going like a crank wheel?
I should do.
I
should just warm it up. Just get the cartridge out. Plug it in.
I was doing that today, actually.
You know what? Have you ever read on? By the way, anyone's got a Mega Drive. Have you ever read what it says on the thing? Is do not blow in. That's what it says. It says do not blow in. But everybody just did that. It was like it's not working.
That is the first thing you
shove
do.
it back in, and you look inside and start blowing inside. It's like it's just the worst thing you could do, supposedly, but it worked, so everyone did it.
By the way, this is a bit of noodle history. This was the first ever game cartridge I ever had.
Which one is it? Hang on, I can't see it.
The Revenge of Shinobi.
Streets of Rage
Streets
and
of Rage
Golden Axe.
Streets of Rage
on the Mega Drive. My first ever game cartridge.
First ever game cartridge, Sonic the Hedgehog. For my Mega Drive.
Go on, Miz. What was yours?
I can't remember the first one. Jesus. I mean, I remember getting the Japanese version of the Mega Drive because it was out before the English version came out. So the front of the thing, where the little light came on, it was white. Yeah. On the Japanese version, it was red. And so the first games I had was like one was a motorbike racing game, and it was in Japanese. There was no English because there was no version of it. But it was one of those sort of things. And then the English ones did work on the games, but then we eventually got the English Mega Drive because then it had the CD drive underneath it as well. So, but yeah, I don't remember what games it was. I
used to love the cartridges that you could put into cartridges like Sonic and Knuckles. That you could put Sonic into, and then you got crazy adapters. Oh man, them were the days.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back, I mean, I remember the first I played on the Spectrum, so I had tape decks, cassette tape decks for playing games, and I had.
Can I show you guys something?
Dizzy, and I had some weird exploring. I had some old games, and I could dig them out.
Do you want to see something I picked up from work this week?
Briefly, we're going to move on whilst you're doing that. What did you get? Is that an AMD? What's that?
Amiga, yeah, I had one of those.
Amiga, yeah. Is that Amiga 500?
Yep.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Have you got? What's the one with the? Remember the car? The car was red. I forget the name. And you drive underneath like the lorry.
I never had an Amiga. This is my first Amiga. And the girl would go woo, and then you like what's the? It was like a. It was like old school arcade. It had the blonde bird in the car. She was driving, and you were the passenger or something. And you drive along. And yeah, I think I always remember as a kid. Again, this is the kind of the when you were a kid, there was like Lara Croft. There was like a mod that you could get Lara Croft's boobs out and stuff. You know, you could kind of mod your Lara. And it was like I remember it was that one was like if you go underneath, she jumps up and like lifts her top or something. I remember someone said you could like so risky.
And stuff. That's dangerous.
Them pixels.
Those pixels. I'm telling you.
Outrun.
I wanted to see it.
I remember Outrun. I had Outrun on the PC.
He was a risky one. Oh, Paperboy now.
It was all very Madonna pointy. I remember that was when I was very disappointed. It wasn't really quite what I thought it was. I was very disappointed as a child. But it was,
When you finally saw boobs for the first time, do you think they were going to be like triangular?
I don't,
because that's what I still think they look like.
We will.
Less pixelated.
Off stream, I will tell a story, or maybe on my stream sometime.
Okay.
But maybe not. This is not the occasion for that story, but it's a good story.
Wow.
I was going to talk about the. Hang on, let's just have a look. Okay, here's a really good link. Now I'm going to drop this in chat. This I haven't read it all because it's absolutely epic, but it's about the flight model. Now this guy has gone in and he's done graphs and all sorts. I'm in the middle of reading through it today. It's the first time I've caught it. But if anyone else has read it. Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Read the document, guys.
No, that's our document. Don't.
Yeah. Don't read the document. I'm only joking.
Delete that
message. How do I delete it?
Just giving everybody access to that document.
Oh God! Everybody knows what's going. Oh my God! Look at them flooding! Look at them flooding!
Wow!
What have you done?
You fucked that right up. What a madness! Well,
that will be deleted.
Now we're going to see everybody flicking all over the page. Oh,
there you go. There you go. That's
so
all
the rest
work.
of the podcast we have no work because someone's going to go in there and delete it.
Oh dear. That's it. Don't give him the doc next week, Miz.
Do you know what? I knew it would happen eventually, but that's the first time I've ever done that. So
now everybody can see how angry you are in these docs and what we have to put up with.
If I give Madness a timeout when it purges his message, I can't remember.
I hate Star Citizen.
Fucking hell. Well, you can see how much work you put in that, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you can appreciate it. Hang on, let me do something.
Look how many people have connected.
Hang on, let me try and just distract everybody by gifting a sub. Hang on.
Don't worry.
There we go.
I don't know how you delete posts, so we just purge Madness and see if it works. Let me have a look.
Oh dear. What a time to be alive.
Well, I've duplicated it, and all you fuckers can enjoy it because it's the last time you're going to get access to that one. So I copied that before anyone could delete it, so I created
So you fucked up the question form last week, and this week you decided to just give away our document. That's cool.
Don't worry.
Because we haven't got enough work to do.
No, but anyway, so yeah, you'll see kind of like the mixture and stuff, and there's a few other things there about Scum. Enjoy those. So no, what I was going to show you was the link to this is when you have too many things open. Was this guy?
He's just completely thrown him now.
Yeah, completely off track. No, I'm fine. It's fine.
In fact, let's not bother with the rest of the podcast. Just go and read the document, guys.
Read the document.
See you next week.
You can find out everything you want to know. But this guy here has done a really good flight model system. It's really interesting. I'm in the middle of going through it all. and it's to do with he basically sums up some really nice things. So if you've never seen it, it's on Spectrum. Definitely worth an upvote and definitely worth reading. And if you've got any kind of, you're quite smart on stuff, read through it. It's well worth watching. I was only going to touch on it because I haven't read it enough properly and I don't fully understand it just yet. So but there's some cool things on there. What have we got here? Gaining crime stats, shooting pirates is BS. We have to deal with that. Makes you go, what the fuck? So this is to do with bugs and stuff. So have you guys ever had that, like, where you get a crime stat for doing something that you shouldn't get a crime stat for?
Yes, it has happened to me. And I'm not sure what caused it, but I got a crime stat. It's a bit random.
Yeah.
I don't think I have, actually.
You've never had it? Oh, man, seriously.
I mean, I
think
can't
I've
say
had it for.
I can't say it's something that I shouldn't have had. That's the problem, because I do things like crash into people and land on top of other ships when they're on the landing pad and things like that. So I think, oh, why did I get a crime stat? But the chances are I probably did do something.
I think I got it when somebody rammed into me and blew up, and I was the bad guy.
Yeah, I've had that before as well. Well, that was who was it? Was it you, Madness, when I was flying in front of your ship and then when that cutlass was bugging, and I went in front of the screen and then touched the front of the cutlass and died, and then we all got crime stats.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like, what the fuck? What's that all about?
Like shit that was still, and it just.
Suddenly you're level 4, the most wanted rank you can have. It's like, what? I didn't do anything. I swear. I'm innocent. That was just one of those things. And then there's one more thing here. Someone was talking. We were talking about the big ships and the waiting times. This is kind of going back to the waiting times and stuff. And I think someone's commented on it as well. They just said like, he just said like he crashed his Starfarer by accident. Okay, and the wait time was 6 hours, and if you were to do it, and it's 32 minutes with a paid expedient. Because I don't have these huge ships, I still have quite small ships generally, so it's only a couple minutes. But if you want to fly some of these big cargo ships or these big running ships, that's what I mean. That's what I was saying. Like CRG needs to roll it back, because 32 minutes to wait to fly that is ridiculous right now. I'm sorry. And then he says, basically goes on to say, what happens if your Endeavour gets accidentally crash your Endeavour, or one of these huge, Idrises or whatever? I mean, like, you'll be waiting days. Probably.
I don't understand, why they don't add like a 25% modifier. So while the game is in alpha, we wait only like 25% of the time it would take.
I think they already did a bit of that. I think. To be honest,
really?
Well, actually, that's what they pay the expedient.
Sense.
I just kind of think it just doesn't. We don't need it at the moment.
Yeah,
it's just a hindrance rather than something that we like. It's just not needed at the moment. I'm not saying I know we need to test it
again. I think it goes back to until I don't think we need it until we can buy ships in the game, or rather it gets in the way until we can buy ships in the game. Because if you end up with no ship, then you can't do any. Well, I suppose you can try and make friends and hop onto another ship. That's where the emergent gameplay comes in. But if you want to fly a ship, exactly.
And we haven't got time to do that at the moment either. And when things aren't working, then you try and hop on someone else's ship, but the doors don't open, and then most people kill you on site.
If it has doors.
If it has doors, then they kill you on site because they think you're on their ship because you're trying to like rob it and everything else. Yeah, it's not a friendly environment half the time.
My dock just emptied.
I did it.
Oh, for goodness sake, man.
I've got a new one already.
Thanks. Can you send me the link? Thank you.
I'm sending it to you boys right now as we're talking.
By the way,
send it to you lot in chat.
By the way, Madness has gone in and changed the rest of the topics for today, so you don't know what's coming.
Shit.
Thank you.
You have the new one.
Imagine if he deleted it before actually.
I requested access. I am ADAM.
If he deleted it all before actually doing that document and then it didn't work.
Don't worry. Don't worry. There you go.
I already had a separate one made up for Asylum. Why is that cursed from my face?
There's a sharing one for you. Sorry. Anyway.
Can you not log? You can log off from the instance and log in again, and all timers are reset. I don't know. But then it's still logging on and off all the time.
There's still quite a long time waiting to get.
Oh, does that still work? Okay, I didn't realize that still worked.
But you still, I'm still gonna.
I have an SSD, so it doesn't really bother me.
And
so-
if you and also you have to log out. Like, here's my thing. Okay, I still have yet to manage to be able to log out properly without losing a ship or something. I still don't know how to properly log out of the game. If I'm being completely honest, it's like I just run out of time and I have to leave, or I've got to do something. So I just.
To be fair, I just do that as well.
I just die, and then I'll come back and deal with it later. So it would be nice if there was a quick way of logging out on your Moby Glass or something.
Yeah.
I think the idea is you're supposed to be landed somewhere on a platform or a landing pad, and then it'll save your ship. That's the idea.
That's the idea. Yeah. Okay. Well, we shall see. My last and final thing was a video. And it was a caterpillar blowing up. Me destroying a caterpillar. And this was just this is to do with the
Just
speed.
one he found in the garden on these lettuces.
Just one. just just one I found lying around. So this was I destroyed loads of them. I was just practicing destroying loads of them. One was how beautiful the explosion was, amazing. But my main thing was I couldn't believe how quick and easy I could really destroy such a big ship in a saber.
But you hit it in the right sweet spot.
So I'd already taken its shield down.
Whoa.
So
Nice explosion though, yeah.
Yeah, it was an awesome explosion. I flew through it. But once you take the shields down on one side, so if you can just, this is why if you're anyone that's flying caterpillars or cutlasses caterpillars or big cargo ships, definitely hire yourself some people to fly with you, because you're going to need to stop them from being able to do what I did when I'm playing this. Is basically, once you take the shields down on one side, all I have to do is just hit that soft spot and you pop super quickly. It's like bang, boom.
What you need a backup cap that flies alongside both sides of you so that they can't hit the shields on either side. It blows up the other caterpillars instead. Simple.
Yeah. So,
Who needs shields when you can just have decoy ships?
That was sexy.
So it was very sexy. And I was thoroughly enjoying myself again in 3.0. Thoroughly.
That's what he's resulted now. Rather than dogfighting, he's resulted to just shooting big fat cargo ships that can barely move.
I've been trying to crash servers. That my main goal has been trying to crash servers. That's like my new thing, is trying to crash servers. Is basically I just try and interdict, because I'm being interdicted all the time. I'm just going to keep using that, and I think I destroyed 20 plus caterpillars in a row, and I don't know how, like 5 or 6 like Andromedas, and God knows how many Auroras. It was brilliant fun. Loved it. Far more my style. So thank you, CIG, for interdiction. I love it. That's me done. That's Reddit done.
Wasn't he complaining about interdiction a little bit
Yeah,
earlier?
he was. He's like that though. You get used to him. So the only bit of fun he's had in the game so far is because of the interdiction, and he doesn't want the interdiction.
Which I hate. I love being confusing.
Yeah, didn't that person learn to roll when you took one shield down?
I had no, it was, you would assume if anyone could, but it's a big ship, right? So, and if I'm a fairly good pilot, so, if he's rolling, I'm going to be naturally trying to follow. My ship's far more agile than him, so if he's rolling or turning, I'm probably going to be getting around far quicker to be able to keep that. So that's why he needs to have the supporting ships to come on me and be able to say, hey, this dick, madness is on my, port side or starboard side or whatever, and he's taking my shields down. Someone needs to, get on him and make sure that he's not hitting me whilst I recharge. Also, the great thing about this is when you have people on board the ship with you, they can move the shields around. So they could then take the shields from the other side and then push them onto that side.
Rather than rolling, that's what will actually happen more chance, is that someone will control those and put the shields from the other side onto the side that's being hit.
And that's the fun. That will be where, And
that's really ATV covered. Well done.
Oh, was it balancing?
That's the crux of ATV. Perfect.
Was it really? Oh, very good.
Pretty much, yeah.
Go for it, Miz. So we'll quickly go through ATV, reverse the verse. What was the highlights, and you go through it. Tell me what you think. I can do. Let's do ATV first.
ATV.
Yeah. So you got a video
balance,
here.
Lots of balance.
I'll bring up some of these videos first. Hang on.
Wraparound text is buggered up.
What wraparound text?
Hang on. Oh, I can't change the format because it's your thing. So half the text is missing because it goes into the So they changed how the team. I don't know. So they were saying that how they work on stuff for like when they was doing 3.01. The projects would sort of like one of the teams from one of the offices would work on it, and then it got sent to somewhere else, and then they would leave it because they're working on something different and it wouldn't get resolved. So I think they're trying to say that they're locking into a development phase so that if they want to fix something, it gets fixed through it. They're all locked onto that project until it's fixed. Something like that. Then they said something about quarterly releases will help speed up backer feedback as well as build up a cadence within the dev teams and prevent holdups to the future builds. To me, that just sounded like a lot of waffle about not much. I mean, I don't see how the quarterly releases are going to be. I mean, I suppose it's going to speed up backer feedback compared to not giving us any releases. But otherwise, it's any content. If you dropped content every day, it would get more feedback.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the main.
Just to answer Bear, I did actually watch it. I fell asleep whilst watching it. So
to be fair, for me, it wasn't the most exciting topic. So although I was sat in front of my television forcing myself to stay awake, it was very difficult to stay awake.
I did watch it.
Okay, so there's about 4 different stream things I loaded up. So if you want to get those images,
I've got them ready to.
Right. So the first thing was, so they're talking about the white boxing. This was quite interesting. So they were working on the white boxing of various different hangars, and this will be different sized hangars and things like that. And they were looking at ones that would be able to dock in from above, which is the same as what you do like on Nevsky, and then also ones where they open up and you can fly in the front of it and dock into it. What was more interesting with these were hangars that will be able to be used on like space stations and planets, and it was the creating of the modular system, so they can use them, like get the modular parts of them and use them, so they'll be able to implement them into truck stops and all that lot.
For me, this was the thing from the episode that got me the most excited.
Yeah,
because we've had hangars for so long, it's really nice to see them working on the new version of that.
Yeah,
and to hear them say that it's going to be stations or planets. I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think it said both, didn't it? But they've sort of because it's modular, they'll be able to stick that into the. I mean, that's one thing we haven't heard much about, other than seeing like the landing pads on truck stops. We saw the landing pads, we've seen it in the Citizen Con demo, but they actually have hangars that you can load into, which is, I think that's going to be a nice thing. I suppose it's a better thing for them because it means they can get people to dock and then take away their ship, so that you're not all sitting there taking up. If it's only got like 4 landing pads and then that truck stop full, you really kind of need these hangars because that's what they do, the magic vanishing trick as soon as you land into it. So it allows them to have.
The company I work for, right? One of the shops that we have is made out of storage containers. That's all this is. These hangars are just made out of storage containers.
It's a little opening door on the front.
I thought it was pretty cool.
So yeah, that was that one. Pretty much. I mean, we haven't had any. So the ones where the doors open from the front. I wonder if we'll start seeing those being utilised in Grim Hex, because they had them. At least the doors for them, didn't they? So it'd be nice to see if they implement that into Grim Hex.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so. So the
other thing was the weapons team. They've been working on more manufacturers and more different weapon types and different types of damage as well. So they just showed you a picture of the Gemini R97 shotgun.
Really stood out to me was they were talking about the firing mode on the shotgun. So you can go for a wide spread or a narrow spread, which I think is really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's not like new, but it's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think it's just they were trying to think of different types of damage as well. So you're going to have, because at the moment we've got like the standard couple, whereas they can add more, and they want to keep adding more different styles, which obviously makes it more difficult for balancing, which is something they go into later on. But
yeah,
so
they need to do some diecast models of some of these guns. I'm telling you, they're stunning.
Yeah. I mean, who's it? The one we had on before, was it Rice Maiden who did the actual models of the ships? Did he do the gun as well, or someone did the gun?
I don't know. I think there
Managed
was
to get
somebody
the
that was
parts in
doing.
3D printing.
He did a 3D printed. I don't know if he did
The
all
multi-tool,
the guns,
wouldn't
He
it?
did the
Was that the
multi-tool
one?
one. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, I don't think that was right. I think that's somebody else. But
Might have been
I could
someone
be
else.
wrong.
Yeah.
But he's
But
done
yeah,
a few
some awesome
things.
stuff there.
3D printing is amazing. But yeah, looks stunning. I think. I mean, it's as much detail and complication to make the weapons as it is to make the spaceships. From what I can see.
It is a crazy amount of detail, and then like trying to make it look like so that it would actually function and things like that as well. So it's not just let's just make it look pretty.
Yeah. No, good job.
You can tell
And,
the people
again,
who
they're going for the same thing that they do for ships, so that you should be able to see the gun and instantly realize, oh, that belongs to that manufacturer or that belongs to this manufacturer, which is kind of obviously a constant theme that we've got running through the game, really.
I agree. 100% agree. Good quality 3D printing and good quality models is something we spoke about before, and I'll repeat it. They should really partner up with some quality manufacturers to just do it for them.
There's a couple of 3D printing companies, because I was looking into it for Dungeons and Dragons models, and you can design the model that you want on their website, and they'll 3D print it for you.
Yeah.
So if they teamed up with a company that did that sort of thing, I think that would be awesome.
Dungeons and Dragons, you say? You're talking to a couple. It's one Dungeons Master, and
yeah, I was really starting to get into it, but then I realised that I'm a 31-year-old man, and I don't want to get into that much of a geek.
I'm 36.
Embrace the
I'm
geekness.
I'm a 35-year-old man, soon to be 36, and I've embraced it, and I've never done it before, and it's fantastic.
I probably will. My partner plays Pathfinder. I bought him Pathfinder books for his birthday, so it'll either be Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, I think.
It's inevitable.
You'll have to join us then, won't you?
That would be fun.
Next video.
So the next bit was, it kind of went over my head a little bit, but basically the UK team has been working on the VMA and the PMA, which is the vehicle manager and the personal manager, which is the stuff that you're going to get in the UI. Fixing bugs for it, improving the features, yada yada. Same thing they do all the time. Just
I like
making
this,
it better.
The helmet
looks cool. And it looks really nice. Contrasting, I quite like the way them contracts kind of show you the distances, or where, roughly where the missions are, because that's something you get, and it's like, well, if it doesn't add it to the map, it's like, where the hell is it?
Can I say full screen?
A lot better than it was.
Full screen, looks very clean. Like, not too much light as well. You're not being blinded.
It's almost like they've done. I don't know if this is going forward. I hope so, because it's almost like they've not bothered with the whole being able to look through it.
You can see enough.
And you can now see. It's so much nicer.
You can see enough, so if somebody's approaching you, you can see them, but you can still actually see the UI, which is really lovely.
I know this sounds silly, but I know I shouldn't really be, but I do think the COD pieces need a bit of work.
Oh,
that one with a little.
No, I think they're bulky enough.
They look a little like, I'm not being. I've just come from like Henry VIII's kind of mansion house and stuff, and I've seen some pretty beastly
I
COD
thought
pieces
for a
on the
second
wall.
you were going to talk about a bondage weekend or something like that.
The bondage weekend, and they have the best.
It was a kind of bondage weekend, but it wasn't quite that kind of bondage weekend.
And on that note, I'm closing my door so my housemate can't hear.
No, I genuinely, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sorry, but the guys back in the 14th century, far better COD pieces is all I'm saying.
But it was all about back then. It was all about the size of the package. Which,
well, no, it was
in terms
actually
of Star
opposite,
Citizen,
now it's
kind
about
of
the size of the gun.
Yeah. Well, it was different. No, it wasn't actually. But never mind. I'll explain that. I learned that about the other day. But never mind. Right, let's move on. Oh, by the way, that second helmet, the one they've highlighted, the A23 helmet, it looks a little bit like Master Shredder's helmet, a little bit like Optimus Prime's kind of transformer.
It needs little kitty ears.
Oh, do you think they're going to do that? Like a little kitty helmet with the little ears on it.
At least allow us to customize and stick on little fluffy ears and stuff. I think that's needed.
Right. Okay. Right, let's move on.
So the next one is this was one of the better ones. Is the gameplay features team have been working on the character customization to allow for the changes in the choice. So the basically the first iteration we're going to get of character customization is the changes in head choice, skin tone, eye color, hairstyle, and color. I think and color.
Wow.
I'm so looking forward to not having to look like madness anymore.
And that's going to persist as well. So if you log out and log back in again, that will be once you make it, that's your character basically.
Blue hair moist.
I kept looking at it to see
Absolutely.
if Mac would turn up in this video, but I don't think he does.
Mac is going to be a random NPC cleaning toilets in some backwater fucking truck stop. I can guarantee it.
So this is
Oh, he's,
preset.
attractive.
This is preset
hello.
faces, effectively, right?
Yes.
We can't pull
Heads.
like you
Not
were
yet.
doing in other
But what
things. We
they've
can't make
said
any-
is that they want to be able to
Tier
take, like,
zero.
for example, noses from X person and put that nose onto Y person.
Yeah.
So, but that we're not getting that in the first iteration, I don't believe.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
No,
this is
that's,
just the basic one. So head,
the
pick
eyes
head.
are amazing.
The
don't you think?
eyes
creepy,
are
though.
the thing that I don't
If any
think
of
this
you-
Bit-
Have any of
lives
you
very
seen
well.
those like little girls' dolls that have like got the human, like make the babies look like they're real? They're just really freaking. It's almost like that with this. The eyes are so detailed. It's like it's a little bit weird.
I think
Yeah,
the
it's
thing,
not
the
Uncanny
thing that
Valley
actually, I think
scary.
it was the Gamescom demo. I noticed that was the one where they flew across the planet, right? Or was that CitizenCon and they flew ArcCorp?
They've flown over quite a few
That's
planets over the
CitizenCon.
videos.
CitizenCon.
Arc-
Okay.
Arc
I
was
noticed
citizen-
as he walked past a certain NPC or a couple of NPCs, they looked directly into the camera, and I think that gets rid of that China doll effect.
Yeah, yeah.
When the NPCs start looking directly into your eyes, it doesn't
Yeah.
look as creepy anymore.
It's pretty impressive, though. I'm genuinely impressed.
They
This
should
is
have
what
had a
Mass
little
Effect was
button at the
missing.
bottom, as Phantom Killer's saying, a Mass Effect one. If you all they always end up, press like that. Face at the bottom. If I want the-
Honestly,
Have
I'm
all
not
this
gonna.
on,
I'm
have
not.
a
No
Mass
lie.
Effect
I think I saw Crayer was playing a game called Ghost. I think he was playing today. He was playing Game of Thrones, like a 2011 kind of like average Joe game or whatever. I don't know. And the facial animations were better than Andromeda in that. I was like, geez.
Was that the Telltale Game
They
of Thrones
really-
game?
I don't know. It wasn't.
Probably.
It was,
Yeah, probably.
I was like, holy
story-driven
shit.
one.
Yeah.
But I still think that they're a bit shiny. The skin, like I said before, it still feels a little bit oily, a bit sweaty. But you know,
Yeah. I
I've always
don't.
they feel a bit shiny.
Yeah,
That was my only the specularity. Just
But that
seems a little
might
bit too shiny.
be the lighting. It might be that the lighting source is too close. Like if you notice on me, my cheeks are very, very shiny and very greasy. It's not because I am actually that greasy in real life. Because I have two really bright lights either side of my monitors. So I actually am that greasy. I'm gonna rub
That's
you
why-
my
that's-
face
that's why
on
they
your
put.
face
That's
mirrors.
why you have makeup on, right? When you're
Yeah,
The webcam and
that is
just
why
leave
they
a streak.
wear makeup.
to
Yeah, it's
stop
just-
the light shine
yeah.
off the skin.
So what you're saying is you want your character creator to have makeup on.
Well, yeah, obviously. I want him to look fabulous, darling.
Fabulous.
So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's nice to see. I can't wait for that tier 0. That's going to be great. That's going to be really good. Really, really good. Lots
And then
more
you go
bugs
and stick a
coming from
helmet on it so you never actually see the face that you make
I know.
anyway. But
it. I know.
we won't go there.
As
See,
long
the
as
thing
my
is, that's
blue
what,
hair can poke
what's-
at the top of it.
but what's kind of disappointing with that at the moment, I suppose, is like having that customer creation in is great. But things like the Port Olisar, for example, you can't get from strut to strut without going outside. So there's very limited places you can actually walk around because like, you can get all the coat, the trench coat, and everything else, and your different clothing. But we can't really show it off. They need to give us some form of like linked station so we can walk all the way through and be able to actually have a little social area where you can wear that stuff. That would be nice.
Yes.
I know. I agree. I think without having the planetary, that's why. Yeah, without having the ability to go on planets and wander around with oxygen and actual atmosphere or cities, like major cities and stuff. Yeah, it is a shame, but it's still. I mean, when I saw the helmets and all the varieties of the space armor and stuff, that's kind of what I'm really, that'll be that would be cool having that in.
I think
variety of armor. And...
Yeah, while we can't take our stuff off most of the time, then I think the personality is coming from the armor rather than the character creation at the moment, at least.
Yeah, which is I'm happy with it. I think it's nice that they're progressing with it, and I think they must. The reason they must be coming into the game because the mechanics must be ready, obviously, for Tier 0, and also because of the scalability. I'm guessing as well. It might be used for other things, so it might just not be just used for. So,
as long as they have some armor that's a leather codpiece and some leather straps with D-rings.
You went to the same bondage weekend.
I'll be. Yes, we did. We did. Not that I recognised him because he was wearing a full GIMP suit, obviously. But
he had the grin on his
chest. That's exactly how. No, he had the grin on his mask.
On his that makes more sense. The madness grin.
How do you know these? Honestly, I didn't think I put those pictures up.
I like to watch.
Obviously, you've clearly been hacking my account. The weapon balancing was the bit that I was interested. Like I think Bear Owl touched on the bit that I fell asleep. To be fair, the bit that was interesting is that they've switched the system from like armor based in terms of, like the damage states and stuff, which I thought was quite cool. Shield health armor. They've been playing with it a lot.
Well, it started off with saying that although they called it like weapon balancing, it was a lot more than just weapon balancing. It was more about how all the systems play together to balance the way how long a ship lasts and things. We had at the moment also that obviously the item 2.0 was implemented, which had a big addition to how ships will last and how components have health and everything else. But because it's still not all the ships have been done with item 2.0, but the guns and the ammo and things like that are still being worked upon. So that's not quite in there yet. In some of this, it's probably easier with the RTV stuff, I think, because they answered some of the questions to it, really. So they had things like... So there's not much to see in terms of it was more just talking about it. But so at the moment, they've also got... They were talking about balancing, and the balancing is discussing about at the current time. So in 3.0, 3.01, or the recent builds, it's not what their long... end goal is going to be for balancing the ships. They're trying to balance it for now, and then they have like an end goal balance as well. So at the moment, the ships actually have like a sort of hit point value, which is going to go away eventually when it all relies on different things instead. But for now, to get it to work, or at least semi-work, they've got hit points and stuff like that. To me, it sounds like balancing is going to be a freaking huge headache because you've got like the armor types. Then they've they split it into so you're going to have things like civilian ship, racer ship, cargo, military, and each one of those different grades will then determine the grade of armor. So I think they said your basic type of armor would be like grade C, civilian, which is like 100%. So they based it on like a shield. So if you had a shield that was a civilian shield that was grade C, it would be like 100% shields. If you had a military version of that, then it would have a higher output, but it would also use more energy. And in the same way as if you had a cargo one, it would maybe last longer or recharge quicker. So there's different outputs and different reasons for the different shield types, basically, for any of it. So they've narrowed it down that way.
Didn't they talk about like they can upgrade it as well? Again, so you could have you could make your ship a bit tougher.
So each of the things are also into different grades. So you've got the job role will be one form of grade, and then each one of those have gone from A to D or something like that in the grading system. So how good they are. So C is, I think he was saying, like would be your standard one, and then if you get a better than C, it's like having a better quality one. If you have below C, then it's like a damaged one or second-hand one, something like that.
So I don't know what Moist is holding up behind it. Is that?
I have no idea.
Oh, my little Harley.
Oh my goodness! What are you doing over there? Damn, girl. Damn! Shake it. I love Harley, as you know. So.
Oh really? I didn't realise.
I'm a bit of a fan of Harley Quinn. Where was we talking about the armor? No, it's interesting, the upgrade, like this system that they're in place. I'm looking forward to actually, like, which I showed the video earlier, which we saw, which was obviously, you know, destroying the shields and then stripping the, you know, shredding a caterpillar as a saber on my own in a matter of a minute or two, you know, which, you know, for gameplay wise, that's ridiculous, really. I mean, to a degree, it feels ridiculous to me. But then, because that ship, that caterpillar is so huge, it should take me considerably longer to.
Well, okay, if you go back, so more if you go and look at reverse to verse more, they kind of delve into what they. So basically, ATV was telling you what the differences were, and then our reverse to verse goes into a little bit more detail about that sort of thing. So for the bigger ships that you're talking about, it's all down to do with time to kill. And there's a big section about time to kill and how long it takes for you to destroy the ship. And I said at the moment, that's how it kind of works. So this is, again, what they were saying about balancing it for the gameplay at the moment and balancing it for the future. At the moment, because that's the only gameplay mechanic we've really got, we have ships that have got like a time to kill. But he said what they eventually want to do is have time to disarm. So he said instead of saying time to kill, you'll actually be looking at how long it takes to disarm a ship. Because you're going to want to be able to shoot the ship instead of, you don't want every single ship to just pop and completely blow up and ruin everything that's there.
I was so happy when I heard that. So happy.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot more. So in the future, it'll be more about disabling the ship, putting it out of, like, you know, so it no longer works properly. Sorry, you completely messed the document up, so I can't read my notes properly.
Sorry, hang on, where was it? No. Relax.
So I just need to zoomed in, so I have to keep stretching both sides.
Reverse. Which one do you want?
Just make all the boxes smaller.
Oh, I can read it
now. Oh, that's better. So where was I? So in the future, it's more about disabling the ships and putting them out of action. And then they said for it to actually blow up, you'll have to like critically hit the ship, rather than like just getting through the shields, like you demonstrated quite obviously on the caterpillar. You went through the thing and it blew up. They also said that they kind of had it working because during the demo that they showed off, they said it didn't show it too much, but the Idris, and we were talking a little bit like this earlier, was it mentioned about the Titanic ship? But yeah, the Idris basically snapped in half, and because of the way they've now got what's it called? The internal atmospheres. They've got multiple atmospheres within the ship. It can actually make it snap off, and you would both still have.
And it's the physics grids as well, isn't it? So they both create their own physics grids, I believe, or they separate.
Yeah, that's the word on it.
I think is
they've got multiple physics grids within the ship. So they kind of show off in the demonstrations, you know, like being able to blow off different parts of the ship and things like that. So yeah, you'll be able to snap them in half and hopefully blow. Well, obviously it's going to be pre-designed which bits can break off, but you'll be able to break those off.
Yeah. I mean, what was interesting, they were talking as well about like the ESP and stuff, you know, the enhanced stick precision. I had to make a note of it, write it down so I could get it right. But yeah, it was quite interesting that's, I mean, I've asked a few people who kind of are combat pilots as well, and about, you know, balancing and ship mechanics and stuff. And they've all been, someone said something fantastic actually on my stream. Where is it? I'm going to read it out because he said it was a great line. Let's see if I can dig it out. Carry on. Oh no, here we go. He says, this was Evadius, and he says, I think a balance is going to be non-existent for a while now until we can actually have more game mechanics that truly separate ships by role. I don't think they're trying to balance things to make us happy right now anymore. It seems they're thinking more about the future, saying that if you look at all the ship stats, everything does seems really balanced. It's just that there's an insane amount of weird bugs that are causing problems with combat, making things seem unbalanced. Until now, they've been balancing the game based on people in Mustangs trying to kill Hornets, which was, in his opinion, stupid, which I agree with him. I think it was true. Blah, blah, blah. What does he say here? And so to avoid frustration and to keep people testing the other mechanics, combat should get a lot better in 3.1. And we've got the ESP and the IFCS shit, which we all know about, fixed, hopefully. So, and then also he says space hookers will balance the game as well. But, yeah, I agree with him completely.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that was a good comment.
in terms of balancing the ships and going back to the caterpillar that you're talking about, it's what they were saying is to work out the balancing of the ships. At the moment, they're kind of balancing the smaller ships with the smaller ships, so like the Saber versus the Hornet, that sort of thing, because they haven't got a physical time to kill on a certain ship. But they said the bigger ships they can't balance really because the mechanics aren't involved in them. So like obviously in a bigger caterpillar or these multi-crew ships, you actually need multi-crew to function properly, because that's part of what's going to keep these ships alive longer. Whereas you're not getting that from like a straight up dogfight of just shooting each other.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, the shields like we saw there, where you can, if you got a human on board, they can push the shields to the side that you need the shields to be pushed to.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it in the cockpit as well if you know the short keys at the moment. But I hope that they talked about how they can make this is the thing is how do they make, if you have real people on your ship, mean that you're more efficient? Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, because at the moment, if I have it key binded to like 4 and to 6 and to 8 and to 2 on my side on my keyboard, I can do the job way faster than my friend who sat next to me, because I just go, I'm watching the ship, I'm steering it to the left, and I'm pushing 6 to push the shields to the side. I've got more control. I'm going to be interested to see how do they make the mechanics of people on board much more complementary to making performance better than me just flying it, because at the moment there's nothing yet that I can see that I can control faster from the cockpit myself, from combat side.
I think they'll implement more complicated mechanics.
They might have to do it so that, say, if you as a pilot were doing it, it would be delayed, whereas if someone else would go through quicker. Then there's also, don't forget, like again, so it goes down to the whole time, they're not trying to get you to kill these bigger ships, they're trying to get you to
for
disarm
example, at the moment, if you're trying to move power from like engines to shields or whatever, you just click and drag. But later on, you may have to manually shut down parts of your powered parts of your ship, which is where you're probably going to need a co-pilot to do that, because you're not going to have the opportunity while you're flying to click that many buttons. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see. And like you say, I mean, if certain parts of the ship will make a ship explode, will we get warnings as a pirate?
To be honest, I think
damage and it's going to go explode. The reactor's going nuclear, for example. Sorry, miss. As you're hurting it, and you suddenly go.
If you have someone literally looking at just shields, and you're trying to look at how you're flying and where you're flying and else, I'll tell you now that someone that working on just shields will be quicker than you doing it. Because all the time you're looking at your shield menu that might be down on the panel, you're not looking at the space in front of you. You're not flying more, you could be flying more proactively or better if you were looking ahead, or what's around you situation, or you could be calling targets instead. Whereas if I'm looking at a shield and I see it damaged, I can straight away hit a shield. You might hit a shield by mistake because you're too busy trying to quickly fumble for the button while also trying to do something else. And then there's also you might well have the choice of how much power you put into that shield. Like, you can't do that unless they're a push of a button, but they might say, well, it's not getting damaged too much, so we'll just eat the shield him a little bit on that one, and then we'll put some on the back as well. That's a lot harder to control while you're also trying to fly the ship. Because we've done it very basic in a few patches back when a multi-crew, you could get Connie, I think it was on the Connie, you could control the shields back, and we had the pilot flying while someone else was doing the shields, and it made the Connie a hell of a lot more tougher when that was working. So
yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely, for the average pilot, make a big difference. I think for the super good eyes on everything, it will make a difference as well, but probably not as big a difference, I think. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Completely agree.
At the end of the day, we don't know what's coming, and for example, a Connie might not have as complicated a system as, for example, a Reclaimer or an Idris or a Javelin. So.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing is the minute that you get up into the realms of like two or three person or a 3 to 10 person ship, in terms of people having to do things in the engines and all the rest of it. And a Connie's got like an engine room and a back, Merlin in the back, and it's got three seats plus 2 seats at the back for other things. They are going to have to make the mechanics much more interesting than they are now, because they're boring as fuck, which I'm sure they're aware of.
I'm hoping that the time to kill is depending on the ship, relatively high, because I really do want those like typical Star Trek moments where they put a woman at the helm, so it's naturally going to crash or explode, and the alarms are going off. I'm like, somebody has to stay behind. It's not going to be me. Madness. Stay there, and then you give us enough time to run to the escape
of course.
pods, and then
I'll shoot you in the leg and be like, "You can stay there, most. You stay there, buddy. I'm out of here."
I want those dramatic role play moments,
Yeah. Well, actually, do you know what? Talking about the role play things is that getting the audio into the game where we can actually talk to each other in game and stuff would be advantageous as soon as possible, in my opinion, especially if they're bringing beacons in. So like you're talking about like the people like trapping you and things like that, it will be, rather than having to spend an age and a half typing F11 F12 bring up the chat window, ha 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 ha, it would be brilliant to be able to go, "You're dead, motherfucker," or do you know what I mean, like press one key, like, and you could just kind of vocalize it or what you do.
Yeah, I genuinely think that VoIP will make a huge difference to this game. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's all gravy.
Right, Twitch is about to get ready to ban you, Moist Noodle, because of inequality.
What have I done? What
the new Twitch rules, you're not allowed to say things like that. Inequality to women.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
It was a joke. No women were harmed in making this.
I'm only joking. There's no women in Star Citizen.
Exactly. Not yet.
So, actually, touching on that point where you were saying how you wanted the thing to blow up and everything else, Jared did actually say that they asked about, is linking to beam weapons was one of the things that they said. Actually, that wasn't what I was going to talk about, but that is another thing to do with Star Trek. They was on about the epic sort of space fight moments. So what you get in like films in like Star Wars and Star Trek is that like they're flying through the asteroid field and they're getting shot at for ages, and it seems to like last as a big long chase scene. And that's what they were saying, that's what they're aiming for with these bigger ships, so that you'll get that more. So you'll be getting attacked and sirens will be going off and alarms will be going off, and it'll give you a chance to run around the inside of your ship and start putting out fires on your components and things like that, which is...
Speaking of beam weapons, did anybody... I don't believe the game ever came out, but and I think it's this game, but did anybody ever see the trailer for Nexus 2? You might never have even heard of Nexus. It was an RTS space game. And the thing that I loved about the trailer for Nexus 2, and I don't believe it ever came out, is in the trailer you see a ship fire a beam weapon, but it actually misses the ship and it continues firing because obviously it's a beam, but then they adjust its aiming, and as it adjusts the aiming and points towards the ship, the beam actually bends, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I would love to see that kind of thing in Star Citizen because it was so sexy.
Actually, this is going to be the last thing before we go to questions, I think, because we need to get to questions.
Yep.
So unless there's anything else, Miz, sorry.
Oh, you don't have that on your bot.
When ships explode, again, a reason why not wanting to blow shit up when you're standing right next to it, for example, is that when it explodes, it goes freaking nuclear, and if you're within a certain number of thousands of feet, you're literally damaging your ship. So it's of no advantageous to really be blowing up ships standing right next to like when I flew through that caterpillar, like I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. But in reality, it should be like, holy mother!
Half the caterpillar attached to your.
I should be literally shredded. The whole ship should be like shredded in shrapnel and like things hanging.
One of
off
the things I love about War Thunder. If you're shooting a plane and you're directly behind it, you hear all the shrapnel hitting and the oil hitting your plane.
They showed us that. Yeah. They showed us that on the ATVs back, and they showed us the particles, and they had the audio guy was talking about you will get that effect as you're flying through.
Oh, I think I remember
debris.
That, yeah.
It kind of like will bounce and you'll get the audio of it. I don't know if it's. I'll have to listen again because I tend to listen to music when I'm playing the game.
That was a while ago, though. I think they mentioned
to see.
That,
so I expect that to be in, but yeah, I'm always surprised at how close I can be. I mean, and then a part of me kind of goes, well, I do have shields, and I can enter the atmosphere of a planet.
Hey, so you can smash into a moon head on, and you bounce off it.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe that's not going to work. But it's something anyway, isn't it? It's hard to keep everyone happy. So shall we do questions?
Yes.
Yeah, and to answer your question, if a beam misses, it just goes on forever. So you may well just hit some small child somewhere.
That's the child's problem.
Questions. People will be like, I've been waiting for 2 hours for my question to be read out.
Yeah, all
3 hours.
all three people. So this
Woohoo!
should be nice.
They are. That's all good.
So the first question was from Cecil.
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 Did we get any questions from our patrons?
Cecil.
Let's have a look.
I don't think so. Them patrons, they don't ask for much.
Oh, they're great, those patrons. Nope.
Speaking of films that were spoopy as a kid but look dumb now, we were talking about Jaws earlier, for those that weren't here. You guys heard that there is a new Tremors film coming in May. I did hear rumours of a new one, but damn.
Is Mr. Bacon in it?
I don't know. I haven't heard. I didn't know they were doing it.
It wouldn't be Tremors without Bacon for me.
Without standing on top. All I remember from that film is standing on top of cars.
And
I don't know. I don't remember the full film, but they got outside and they have to quickly jump on top of the cars.
It was a bit of a cult classic. It was meant to be quite scary. I remember it being quite scary as a kid, but then I watched it. I didn't really watch it properly as a kid, and then I watched it later on, and it was more kind of a comedy humor, black humor. Really, I found it rather than particularly scary. But it's a great film. Really enjoyed it. So a remake, like all these remakes, to be honest, I'm kind of like, there's plenty of good writing out there to do new stories for people. They don't need to keep always doing remakes. I'm not a huge fan of.
No, everything's a remake. It's like, that did well. Let's remake it.
It's really like Total Recall. Don't do it. There's plenty of good writers out there doing good new stuff. Give the new generation their stories that are unique, like Stranger Things and other. That's why I love Netflix and I love the cable TVs, because they're doing what the movie industry is failing to do, in my opinion. So yeah, that's for another podcast. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 2, which is not really relevant, but have you guys? This has been an old topic, really. Have you guys been keeping up with the news of cryptocurrency miners driving up the prices of GPUs? And if so, how does this make you feel?
As long as I can afford a GPU, doesn't really bother me. No, to be fair, it actually does annoy me a little bit. But they are trying to combat it by bringing out GPUs specifically for mining. So maybe in the future that will be resolved.
I'm going to be the complete pleb in the room. Can somebody just explain to me what he's talking about?
So essentially, you can buy now motherboards that have lots and lots of PCI ports on them, and you can have, say, like 20 graphics cards plugged in, and you can use the processing power from those graphics cards to mine Bitcoins.
Okay, and so basically, by there being a huge demand for GPUs,
it's driving up the prices.
But the prices are driven up because there's a limited amount. The
problem is we cannot mine enough resources out of the ground quick enough, because we want the same resources for, and this is where companies like the one I work for come in. We need the same resources for mobile phones, and
it's very limited as well. Which is why recycling those things are extremely important, because we're
exactly
the rare materials that they use.
You would not believe, like we have, I think I mentioned this on an earlier podcast, we have a pallet in my work that we call the gold pallet. And when we fill that with motherboards, which is once a month, we get, I should mention, we get about £1,000 now. And the price is constantly going up, how much they pay us, because how much they need the resources that they recycle off those motherboards. It's ridiculous, and that's purely because they just cannot get it out of the ground quick enough, So there we go.
So to me, it's annoying because as an average consumer that doesn't do any mining and stuff, it's like you want to have affordable graphics cards. The fact that they're not affordable, it's annoying. It's like anything. And the fact that we need graphics cards to play these games, it's not like a resource that we don't actually need and could get away with not having. So yeah, hopefully that they do something like that, make it so that they can do minors ones that leave everything else alone. I don't know, but
maybe they could do they do a deal where, like, for example, say I have a 1070 and I want to upgrade it to a, I don't know, a 1080 Ti. I could effectively say to them, rather than keeping the one, I could just say, if I just wanted to do direct swap, I could return it and they'd give me a discount on the new 1080 because they're effectively able to recycle it.
I don't know any retailers that do that, but I think they should.
They should, yeah.
It would be quite nice.
Because they're able to, because it's precious metal, yeah.
Well, they can resell those on anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, last question is, I've seen in other streams that Squadron 42 still has co-op. It's been a while. They said no. It's been a while. They said no, except maybe after the mission is done. That was from the prisoner. Well, I know the answer to that one anyway. They basically said they said there's no co-op. However, you may be able to co-op on certain fights within Squadron 42. So if there's a big fight, I presume it opens up some form of instance for it, and then I think you can work together on that fight. But you won't be able. There's no co-op in the story mode of the game at all.
I'd like them to do a kind of Modern Warfare take where we do the single player story mission, and then they have like separate co-op maps and things made. I know it sounds more work, but I just would like the idea of them potentially doing that, so you can do, and they'd be very challenging, a bit like how we have like Vandal Swarm, for example, so they would like maybe take part of a mission or something and then kind of like make that cooperative, like Miz was saying, like a big battle scene or something that was part of Squadron 42. You could do it on your own, but then as part of this co-op, you can it's a separate window where you have to go through and say co-op and join up and then go do the missions together. Just like
they have said that there is going to be no co-op, but I would imagine that in Star Citizen, because of like Star Marine, it wouldn't surprise me if we see them implement like some co-op stuff into Star Marine. Because obviously the maps that we see in Squadron 42 are going to be places that exist in Star Citizen anyway.
Yeah, they meant Squadron 42 though. Squadron 42 itself is a single-player game, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
like
we're not going to see co-op.
Battles. Now, again, I don't know if the big battles will be, I've just got up to them, can I now do it? Or whether the big battles will become... Do you know how some games have like an instance dungeon, and you can repeat it as many times as you want? I don't know if the battle will become like that, and you can get co-op on it, or whether you can somehow... Or whether it'll be like, if you go into a big battle... and that server's meshed and someone else might end up being in that big battle at the same time. I don't know, but that's about the only thing that you'll get.
It could end up being like the Kobayashi Maru, where like in Arena Commander, for example, eventually when they let us go in as a group, you could relive in Arena Commander that one big epic battle.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that's what they meant by it. But they're basically the actual gameplay will not be done because it's because they said basically it's because of the story mode. So the way that you can be talking to a character, if someone's watching, they can't hear the conversation or be part of the conversation. So they're not going to do it, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice if they could have kind of tied in with like if you're not worried about the story, but you want to just sit there and play with someone and join them as they do their adventure or something. But yeah, it's not going to happen. So. That's that. I did have another question, actually, yeah.
I've got one as well. I've got a question as well.
Okay, well, this one was for Madness, and it says, I saw you posted that your tea tastes better since buying your posh spoon. And he says, I reckon the reason behind this is because your crappy Yorkshire tea is slowly making the spoon rust, and that it's that rust that's improving the flavour of your tea. Is that correct?
No.
I think so.
And I know who that person is. And you can take your PG tips, okay? And
PG tip.
It's just exactly a PG. It's clearly a PG tit. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
PG tips.
Well done.
I'm a Typhoon man, personally.
Oh, it's a Typhoon man.
Another one.
Yorkshire tea.
The awkward one.
We're going to be on big conversations about tea here. Feel free, guys, to spam in chat.
Enjoy the last time that Moist Noodle will be joining us in the podcast. It was nice having him, and until he converts to
flanked.
Tips, he can go.
Miz is flanked by proper tea drinkers. My question is Moby Glass malware. So in the TV show, which has just come out on Netflix,
Altered Carbon, which
Don't
I have
talk too much
binge
about it
watched
'cause
the
I've only seen
entire
the
show.
first one.
and I
So
don't want to do.
please
I'm not going to do. I'm not going to
spoil.
do no spoilers. This is just there's a bit where potentially you can hack and like do malware. Obviously, it's computer generated. You know, it's computerized. It's it's and he can hack and put malware, and he starts seeing adverts for shit in front of him. Okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing: is that you think potentially again talking about hacking in the game? They talked briefly about hacking on previous ATV last week or whatever. We'll potentially get the ability to, do you think there'll be malware that you can?
It needs. It would be nice as long as it's really
hack.
fucking difficult to do to avoid griefing.
Yeah, you don't want just like shit ton disabling your Moby glass, because your Moby glass is your lifeline at the end of the day.
know.
So
I
if
know,
that gets
that's what I was-
screwed up, it's.
I was
pretty-
thinking,
Like, for example,
it'll be
if it's
fun.
if it's something that you had to plan ahead of time, that realistically it would take like 3 hours to set up. I'm just throwing out a random number, and you have to time it so it hits at the perfect time. Otherwise, yeah, you don't just want to have adverts in front of your face while you're trying to fly your Super Hornet into battle.
I mean, they could potentially, it could be done differently. Like, so the hack might give you access to their job information or something like that. So maybe not so much ruin the
just
game.
some subtle stuff.
Yeah, something a little bit
Yeah.
like you've been hacked, but not.
do you
not
think? Yeah, I mean, do you
game-changing,
think you
things
could?
like
Do you think? Okay, so maybe it won't be malware, but then do you think, like, for example, you could like send people on rogue missions? You could hack their thing to give them a
That
mission.
would be good.
I mean, that would be cool. Yeah,
That would
change the
be
coordinate,
cool.
hacking and change the coordinates of where they need to go. That would be an
Yeah.
awesome feature. That really would.
So you could, so they think they're doing a mission, you know exactly where they're going, and then you can be ready for them because you think they're going to this location to do this mission, and you can just go, nope, we're going to go here, and then or for tracking, I think for bounty hunting stuff, it'd be good so you can hack people's Moby glasses and get like a ping on them or something that you could track for a period of time.
I mean, being able to alter what it says is probably maybe a step too far in terms of technology and being able to do it. Mind you, you can do your own mission, but maybe tracking and actually just reading their Moby glass would be at least a good start. So like you said, so if you were a bounty hunter, you want to know where they're going to go, you could work out where their end destination is or something, and then go and ambush them on the way.
Clone Moby glass, like you do, like I don't know if I've never played the that Watchdog Watch or whatever it's called, where they do the
Watchdogs.
Watchdogs, whatever. Could you clone?
Dog Watch is a completely different thing.
Moist probably knows
Woof,
that
woof.
one. But no, the God, honestly, it's all falling apart. It's getting late now. I was just thinking you could clone their Moby glass, so you could technically watch what they're looking at. So you have to be within a range. You have to be a bit like a kind of Assassin's Creed, when you have to kind of follow
here's the
them
thing.
would be cool.
stealthy through the
Mag
character.
boots, you're stuck on the bottom of their reclaimer, just
Oh,
dragging along. Yeah.
Scanning, watching their Moby glass. No, I'd love that kind of like espionage secret.
Sending them plenty of fish emails, spamming them.
Yeah, that would be a
feature.
cool feature.
Good stuff.
By the way,
Last question.
just so I can say it, so it's gone. Cloverfield Paradox, watch it. That's what I'm going to say. Right, move on.
Oh yeah, no, I'm intrigued by that.
So good because the guy from the IT crowd is in it, and it's just fucking awesome. Really good.
Okay.
Really
good. Good. I'm always looking for new things to watch. That's awesome.
It's a film. I thought it was a series, but it's a film.
Oh, I thought it was a series. Is it a film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Oh, it's just another film, another Cloverfield film.
It's good though. It's a Netflix Cloverfield film.
That's okay. The Cloverfield stuff was great when I watched it. The last question, I think I was going to have another question that was, so it was just actually, no, this was to do with enough model years. So do you know what? Fuck it. It's enough. Let's move on. Let's leave it. That's it. Good place to end it. I'll deal with that later.
Stealth Armor, did you see that bit?
Stealth armor. Oh, yes. Very cool. But again, like I said, I still don't
drop that in at the end of the podcast.
I don't see how
armor and
stealth.
then leave.
I still don't. Yeah, I still don't see how stealth ships and stuff. I still haven't seen the
Well, it's not going to hide you. What it says is it'll make it
It's
like
supposed.
hardcore,
It's supposed to be like modern
missiles
day
to lock on.
stealth, isn't it? Where you're reflecting radar. I don't know what it's called in Star Citizen,
you
but
can't be locked on with a missile at the moment in a. You mean armor as in armor?
I'm just.
You can't. I mean, sorry. When you said stealth armor, do you mean stealth body armor, or do you mean stealth armor for vehicles again? Sorry.
Stealth armor for a ship.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking you were talking about stuff for a second. I'm sorry. I
No.
For a second,
So
how cool it would be
basically
to have stealth body armor. I was like,
He'd look like
whoa.
Shredder.
Yeah, I don't know how that would be. That would be interesting.
I was like, whoa.
Lots
like
of pointy
active camo.
bits.
Active camo.
Pointy ears.
Just don't get a goblin to do a magical spell on it or whatever to make it go invisible, because he's a lying little shit, and I'm going to deal with him later.
It was funny.
D&D
Did you
Friday
just-
nights. That was
You just got triggered, didn't you?
He did.
Did get-
I sold him a cloak that ran out of in 10 minutes. For his
Oh, get wrecked.
Yeah, and then he told everybody
Stealth
else
cloak
that.
that
So I
didn't-
was pretending. I was pretending to roleplay invisible, and everyone was like, "Yeah, you're totally invisible, man. This is fine."
I basically muted him so he couldn't hear. Then I told the rest of the group that you can all see through his cloak because the effects run off. It's up to you whether you tell him, and they all just decided not to bother. So he's kicking. I'm hiding in the shadows, and someone's like, "No, we can just see." I got so
It was only. Yes, anyway, watch it. It's that one. So it's on the episode. It's on the YouTube channel.
It's
for
on the
Asylum.
Asylum YouTube channel.
You can watch
If
it.
you haven't, and well, that's it. That's in the question. But for that,
That's
anyone
in the
that
questions.
hasn't followed, please do go and give our Asylum channel a follow.
Yeah.
Why not
Go
plug
subscribe.
it? You need to.
I
Even
might.
if you're not gonna
I'll
watch
see
it,
how I feel.
just go and follow anyway.
Yeah, watch us learn to do D&D and other things, and yeah, we'll be doing other things as we go along. I don't want to say too much more about like, hey, we're going to do stuff when we haven't done it. We've got Stout and Sturdy guaranteed. We have the Asylum podcast, which we do on Mondays guaranteed, and then everything else in between. It's just when we're able to at the moment with our busy lives, trying to figure out how to do it. But it will be there. I hate saying stuff and then not doing it. It bugs me. So there's a few things like T-shirts for people. I owe people T-shirts. Do not worry. Ms. Sent me a wonderful link to the company about the T-shirt that was been printing my purple T-shirts terrible. That's the only reason why people haven't had these T-shirts is because the purple is terrible. They've just invested in a brand new 50 grand, 500 grand or something ridiculous printer that does better dark colors or better purples basically. So hopefully this is hopefully.
So then contact them before order. Don't just order though.
I have to contact them because they're doing a 2-year migration to this software, so the new printer. So I have to specifically ask for it. So I'm going to be contacting them this week, and we'll be getting hopefully a sample made to see how good it is. If it's good enough, those people that owe T-shirts,
and our D&D shirts look awesome, by the way.
And the D&D stuff. If you haven't checked out the merch page,
if you see the one Rithis is wearing, it is fucking awesome. The ampersand one.
Yeah, I might actually buy one.
Public Tea is like, I have to say, I'm very impressed with Public Tea. If anyone is interested in merch, they're very
still trying to look for a UK one that I can use, but
yes, we do need to.
To be fair, this T-shirt arrived really quickly. I wasn't expecting it to arrive so quick.
Yeah, I ordered them. It took ages, so maybe you're just lucky, or
unlucky news.
They know. Like Moist, they're like, this guy spends a lot of money on T-shirts. It's all good. It's all good. So so let's just quick round up what people are doing.
Moist.
Working a lot.
Okay, Madders. No, I'm just kidding. Go on, keep going.
I'm going to be trying to stream this week through the weekdays. So from about 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Twitch.tv/moist_noodle. That's me. Or you can follow me on Twitter @themoistnoodle. And that's where I share my behind the scenes stuff. And also check out my Discord. But you'd have to go to my Twitch page to get the Discord. That's a cool place. Not just pictures of my puppy. She's very cute, getting very big. Took her to the park for the first time on Friday. She was very well behaved. She came back when she was cold. Then we got caught in a snowstorm. It was ace.
Nice.
How about you, Ms?
Yeah, that's
nice. He passes it on. Me, I am going to be streaming. My main plan is, well, like I said, I'm going to do War Tile, try and stream that and do a little review on that. Other than that, for now, well, Hunt Showdown, if I can get a time to stream it, otherwise we'll just be playing it. And then on Friday is Dungeons and Dragons. So if anyone's into that, like we say every time, come and join my channel, follow me. We host it on there. that's about it, really. Follow me on YouTube, Twitter, everything else. Oh yeah, and also the painting. We moved my paint platinum roll to Wednesday evenings now, just so it's not following on a late night from here. So now Wednesday evenings we finished off the spaceman that I was painting. So we moved on to something else for a little bit. I need my spray.
It's quite therapeutic actually watching you paint.
It's a bit weird. It's more I'm painting while everybody just gets around and has a nice chat.
But I feel like you need a big wig.
Talks about tea. He does need a Bob Ross. He needs to be beating off his brush regularly.
Oh, hello.
Beating off the brush.
You need to whack off that
brush. No, it is. It's turned into just like a social gathering now, and I stream, put a bit of music on, paint, and then everybody just gets on Discord and talks about tea, and it just goes from random to tea.
And then I accuse people on Reddit of being imposters.
Yeah. And then whisper, someone else is nicking your pictures.
How dare you?
Oh god.
So yeah, so that's me. That's my week. Yeah, I'm gonna put that up because that's my schedule thing that I do every week. So it's the podcast, the Paint Platinum roll, and the Dungeons and Dragons on Friday. They're my 3 set things that I definitely do. Other stuff will be extra until I can get my life back in order, which is going to be a little while. And over to you, man.
Yeah, this week I've been landed a shit ton of work to sort out. So I'm going to be going to Asia soon. So whenever I have to travel to Asia, I have to do tons of prep work for my sneakers. So the factories are able to make them. So my work schedule goes. And my boss has just landed me with a load of new stuff to do. So I'm very busy. So don't expect my last couple of weeks. I've been very quiet. So I've been able to stream for prolonged periods of time and just have a good chill out stream. It's been fun. Expect back to probably, if you're lucky, like a couple hours, if I'm lucky, to be fair, to get the odd stream in here and there. I'd like to stream The Witcher and stuff as I've got it, and then a few other games that I've picked up, and also The Hunt. I'm just hoping the developer will come back with a key so I can play with Miz The Hunt together, because it looks like a really good co-op game for 2 people to play. And then I have to do a Subnautica review. So quite busy, trying to do some other things besides Star Citizen. So Star Citizen is always the focus for me, but because I love the game. But at the moment, I have to be honest, until the game mechanics really start to pick up, I'm a gamer first, so I want to play other games as well. But I'm always going to be doing this, and I'm always going to be jumping into Star Citizen streamers and chatting with you guys, because I love you guys. You're awesome.
Yeah,
that's it. And that's it. So yeah, just you're here anyway on my channel, so follow. And if you want to support us, like I say, we have the patronage now, Patreon page that Miz set up. We do have like links.
Do you have any links on your bot?
You get an exclusive Discord channel with us. You can chat with us. You'll get access to give us questions beforehand. I will, rather than accidentally giving everybody access to the Addicted Podcast document, I'll be giving it people, the opportunity to add things and content and to give us stuff that they think. It's just kind of, give back to you guys who support us and stuff. So, and like I said, buy some T-shirts if you like the T-shirts. They're awesome. It's a great way of advertising for us, and they're good quality.
Yeah, sorry, it's just a bit of a...
No, you haven't.
It's a bit of the banter.
I like a little bit of banter.
Okay. Revolt going on, but no. Thanks to everybody that has subscribed or joined us on Patreon, and that we do appreciate.
Massive. Well, I think we're able to now pay. We're now able to do the basics in terms of being able to pay for your patronage. Zoom, which is the basic. Yeah. That's the basic. So
it does help.
That helps a lot, and obviously the more you guys do, the more it helps us to be able to guarantee the show constantly, or all the shows we do constantly. So really appreciate that help and support if you like what we do. Brilliant. Let's find someone to host, shall we?
Ooh.
We've got The Few, we've got Moonshiners, we've got Red Lear, we've got Dr. Drones. These are the ones that I know. Unless there's anyone in here there's no one else here that I don't know. We've got RX25 does Star Citizen. I don't want to choose. Last time I think I chose somebody that wasn't even doing a raid, isn't it? Told us
I keep raiding people who are like French, German, because I'm special.
Oh, this guy's part of Synchronized Forest. Oh, RX, I know Synchronized. These guys are combat guys, Sync. But he's not... Are you called... He looks a bit too. Yeah, needs to talk a bit more. Are you talking? Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
I know
You
sync.
talking to me?
Oh, hang on, he's talking.
Go raid someone then. Oh look, we have actually got some commands.
All right, let's go and raid. Who do you want to do? The few
Just do
regular or drones? I'll just choose somebody. Oh, hang on.
Dude, we ain't done it for a while.
Hang on.
Decide yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor Drones.
Who's ATC Guardian? Oh, he's streaming with the few, maybe.
Yeah, he's not playing. He doesn't. Oh, he plays Star Citizen quite a lot actually. I've never done him before. ATC Guardian. Let's give him the host.
Do it.
Let's do that. Let's do him. All right, I'm gonna go give this guy a host. ATC Guardian. Go and give him some. If you've got those fresh cheeks, go give him some cheeks in stream and some Asylum. I will get some Asylum raid stuff going on at some point as well.
Yeah.
So hang on a second. I need to go back.
/raid.
Go back to my channel. Yeah. Raid. Eventually, we might actually be able to speed this process up.
Everybody's gone by the time
everyone's gone. We'll have nobody to raid him with. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. Have a great evening, and I'll see you through the week. Come and join us. Come and join all of us. Watch us. Hang out.
Make sure you follow Moist Noodle, our guest. Thanks for coming on, as always.
I'm the special guest. Special.
He is a special guest now.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Have we gone?
Bye.
I'm gonna increase the counter here because I'm a scrub and I only have it.
Receiving transmission.
Oh snap! One second.
Okay, no problem.
Little bit of madness. Thank you very much for the host. Asylum raid. Asylum. Oh snap! Oh snap! Miserable. Thank you for the host as well. And Bunsen. Bunsen's in here. Bunsen with the multi-tab.
What's his name?
Receiving transmission.
Oh, Moist Noodle gifted a subscription to Little Madness.
You and your subscriptions. What are you doing?
No.
Stop it, Moist. Someone break his fingers.
I'm not doing anything wrong. Stop it, Dad. I'm sorry. Don't be disappointed with me.
Someone break his fingers. Oh, brilliant! Well, thank you, Moist, for coming on, man. I appreciate it, dude.
That's cool, dude.
I mean, if you come on quite a lot, I like having you around. You're an awesome person to have around. So.
Oh, thanks, man. I just want to be liked.
You're liked. You're very liked.
You're very liked.